Giovanni's watching live like this fucking thing never ends. Hi, everybody. So this video is definitely not going to be monetized. I already cursed. Hi, everybody.
They took that out.
I don't know. The YouTube policies is so fucked. We are indeed back. None of us are dead. Yeah. I know we always joke about like when Lewis and Giovanni is out for a week. It's like, oh yeah, they died. I almost died. But I didn't.
Some would say you did. But
Only in my sleep a couple times. Yeah, I know. I got to get rid of the happy birthday banner. I forgot that was up there, to be honest with you.
You should just keep it, to be
That's
honest.
how just leave
It's
it
like
up
a
there.
sad momentum.
Like forever.
It's always my
Celebrate
birthday.
your life.
I just start getting more tips and happy birthday. I just don't say anything. Just
Honestly, with your lighting, it looks depressing.
It is.
It's really dark.
It is. It's like a happy birthday at an old folks' home the day before Grandpa gets fucking euthanized. Oh, that's not the right term for it, right?
You need to do a serious stream with that depressed lighting and just get one of the red noses to put on your nose and just don't acknowledge.
I mean, we could go red
at all.
Red's a little bit brighter.
Okay.
We can go white, which is blue. I don't get that at all. We'll go with red. Fuck it. Now it just looks like I'm in hell. I did die. I'm broadcasting from the depths of hell. Hi, everybody. Just to start it off, we are back. We will be doing, I don't know how many episodes we're going to be doing. I think definitely it'll be 2 a month with the 4 of us. And then Alex and I will once again decide what we want to do with the other 2 episodes from there on in. But we are back. We have 2 new movies, or newish. I mean, these movies go to the theaters and then directly to digital like fucking 3 weeks later. So both of these movies are still pretty new. Scream 6. Did it have a tag? Was there like another like Scream, you know,
I don't know.
the Revenge?
I think it was just Scream and then Scream 6.
And I know they just like to play with the
end.
fucking the letters and the name for the M. They
Oh.
made it like the IVM.
So Scream 6, or 6, and Evil Dead Rise, which I like both movies. I have problems with both. I gotta be honest with you. I'll go. Clearly we'll go into them.
Oh God!
We lost Anthony.
I dropped you guys.
Holy shit! I'm gonna
least you still got
vomit from the
audio.
vertigo that gave me. So it's been. I mean, it's
I
been
just
a,
watched it again on this one.
it's been a hot minute, guys. How's
We're
everybody
falling
doing?
apart. We just got back,
Good,
guys.
good.
First episode back, and Lewis just dumped his gear. It was his enormous penis that knocked it over as he moved.
Power of the chode.
How have you guys been? Clearly alive. What have you been
Better.
watching?
Better than you.
A lot of porn.
I'd say most of you
A
are
lot of
way
porn.
better than I am right now, but you know.
Man, I imagine in the hospital it was just like cooking shows and Impractical Jokers, because that's the only time you can watch Impractical Jokers.
And then for 4 days straight, one of the channels did the same exact programming. Like Joe Dirt was on at the same time for 4 days straight, and I'm just like, I was losing my mind. For one thing, hospital furniture.
Why didn't we review Joe Dirt when we got back then?
If I watch it again, I'll fucking just start stabbing my holes again. Yeah, no, that was, dude, the hospital, and shit's not comfortable in the hospital either. Like the none of the recliner chairs, the bed, like none of it's comfortable. And when you can't move your right side of your upper body without excruciating pain, getting your fat ass up off the bed is one of the most painful things I think I've ever experienced. And none of the nurses like understood. Like there's a couple of the dude nurses that understood it, but they just kind of looked at me like, why can't you get up? And it's like, if I get up, I'm going to cut your fucking throat. Like, because right now, like literally I had the diabetes doctor walk in, and it was in a moment where I was sitting up, and he looked at me and he goes, I'll come back. And he walked out of the fucking room, and he didn't come back till like 2 days later.
I think it was because your gown was open. He was like, I'll be right
dude,
back."
I'm not going to lie. Before Jen, like there was 2 days before Jen post-surgery, before Jen brought me shorts, where like I had ass hanging out. I didn't give a fuck. Like
you had the gown open in the front. You were
No,
walking
no,
around
I
like
had
that.
it. I had it on the back.
Sir, you
but,
have it on the wrong
but
way.
you were getting a lot of good baboon ass shots in that hospital if you wanted to. Like the black nurses are looking at me just like, this white man's got his ass hanging out. You know what though? I have a feeling. Like I was just thinking about this. There's got to be people that they see that are way worse than me. Like my stupid white ass hanging out's like nothing because there's not shit coming out of it. Like I'm not throwing up everywhere. Like I like to think I was a model customer of that hospital.
Prisoner.
Customer too. Yeah.
Well, that's like I talked to because I have a home nurse that comes basically to draw blood out of my my IV and just make sure I'm not dead. And I talked to her and I'm like, you know, because you go to these appointments and they like praise you. It's like, good boy, you got your sugars under control. It's great stuff. And she's like, yeah, but you don't understand like how many people get out of the hospital and go right back to their fucking terrible dietary health behavior. And it's like, okay, I get it. Like she's like, I have patients that I deal with and right now that just, they don't care. They get out of the hospital, they go back to doing what they were doing until the next time they're in a fucking hospital.
Like, they just had a liver transplant. They're fucking drinking alcohol.
Dude, okay, I know this is a little weird for us to be talking about. Do you guys know about the Selena Gomez and her friend story?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
dude, that was weird.
Selena Gomez donated, was it a kidney?
She got a kidney donated to her.
No. She donated, a kidney to her friend, and then her friend there went to and continued partying and drinking, and now they're no longer friends. And she has openly like talked shit about this girl for going back to like drinking and shit after she gave her a kidney from kidney failure.
Selena Gomez gave a kidney?
Is it Selena Gomez or is it another one of them?
She received a kidney because she needed a transplant because of her lupus.
It's Selena Gomez.
No, then there's another.
Then
there's another one because
I thought it was Selena Gomez. I heard that story.
No. The celebrity girl. Whoever the celebrity chick is donated the kidney. Whether it's a different girl or not, I thought it was Selena Gomez. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But the celebrity donated the kidney to the friend.
I don't know who she is.
Because there's a whole thing now that the friend.
Wizards of Waverly Place.
She was fucking Justin Bieber.
No.
The only
the
only reason I know her name is because like her and Justin Bieber were a thing. Selena Gomez received. So who's the one that donated one?
Well, what do you do in that sense? Do you just give back the busted kidney? Like,
right? Give it back to me. They do a Mortal Kombat on him. Give it back to me. It's mine now.
How are you?
Now I'm googling Selena Gomez.
She's in that that Hulu show with Steve Martin and Martin Short.
The Murder on Floor, whatever.
I have not watched
all the murders in the building.
It looks interesting.
You know, fellas, once you see him live, there's really no reason to watch their TV show. That's how you know I'm old. Like I've literally seen Van Halen, Steve Martin and Martin Short live, and fucking Leonard Skinner. Like, don't get me wrong, I've gone, Ozfest and I've seen young bands, but I don't know, like as I've gotten older, it's nice to sit. Like I used to be the guy in the mosh pit knocking motherfuckers around. And then now I go to concerts and I feel old because I look at the people in the mosh pit and I'm like, fools. It's just, I don't know. As you get older, you want to sit your ass down. And I don't even drink at shows because I don't trust these fucking idiots.
Anytime we look at a venue, if they don't have seating, I get really pissy.
So Matt, to answer your question though, it was Selena Gomez that received it from her friend Francia. And she called her out for drinking, for being on tape.
Called Gomez out for drinking still? Oh, okay.
She was out drinking.
I mean, that is kind of shitty, right? Like your friend's over there, it's harder for her to piss. She can't drink as much. Like, her life has changed forever by giving you a kidney. And you're over here like, shots, anyone? Like, that is kind of shitty. I don't know why that spawned in my ADD-riddled fucking head.
I was going to say, how did we get here?
Oh, because I made a joke about people not changing their shit when they got their liver transplant.
You a damaged goods lady.
Okay.
And then we went around.
What have you guys been watching I mean, it's fucking 2 months at this point, but
Monk.
Oof. I know that's not a bad show. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could binge watch it.
Every
Are they
morning
half-hour
breakfast,
episodes?
I watch 2 or 3 episodes. They're about 45 minutes now.
Oh, so they were full hours. Okay.
Yeah, so I sit at the kitchen table, and after I'm done my breakfast, I sit there because I forget that I can actually move to the TV, and I just sit there watching 2 more episodes.
Dude, we have these wood chairs in our kitchen that aren't comfortable. Like after a while, my ass starts to hurt, and I was like, why am I still up here? Like we eat dinner, and after we're done eating, we both kind of like zone out on our cell phones, and it's like, I want to go downstairs.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit in this fucking chair anymore.
That happens here.
I remember having those Costco chairs, those white ones. And those things are durable, but we had an old one the one day, and I leaned back and I was stretching, and the fucking top broke. I just hear it like pop, and it caved in, and I was like, God damn it, I'm fat. Broke a Costco chair.
That happened to somebody I know. He sat down in one of those plastic chairs outside, and it actually exploded.
Okay, I'm gonna say this: your buddy should have had more self-awareness. If you're a fat dude, big guys understand what big guys should be doing. You ever see a big guy do this? You just think you're at your local Mexican children's birthday party, so alcohol and friends everywhere, where they go like this. No. And then they get up and they go sit on the bench or some shit. That's a fat guy test. You sit down and you just put a little, especially if you got thick legs and you're a big guy, you sit your fat ass just a little bit on the chair, just to listen. Then you listen for the cracks, and you go, okay, and then you feel the shut up, and then you feel the wobble. And you go, okay, how's it feeling? Every fat guy has that test.
That happened to me when I went to go get my glasses. I sat down in the chair, and I was like, whoa. And I sat in the one without the handle or the armrest. And my wife goes, do you want to sit here to get closer to the desk? I said, no, I'm fine in this one right here, and I'm not moving. I'm just sitting right here.
We've been at parties where I've gone to sit down in the shitty plastic, lawn furniture people have.
I don't sit in
And I've gone, nope. And immediately, got up and I stood and fucking leaned against a wall or some shit.
Look, you got a cooler right here. I'm going to sit there and protect the cooler.
Yeah, hey, a tree stump. Jen has seen me do this, too, where it's you do a crouch, and then you test the structural integrity, and realize, no, we are not on safe ground. Because that will happen if you're too fat and you try to shove your fat ass inside of a fucking plastic outdoor chair it's this thin. It's just a little bit thicker than a fucking CD case. And then it just fucking splinters and hits the poor birthday girl in the face and eyes. That happens. Fat guys need to understand. Fabian's got it.
Yeah, Fabian says true. Now he just stands.
I fucking just stand. When you're a seasoned fat boy, as soon as you get into the room, you scope out the chairs. And it's like the Terminator scanning the room, but instead it's structural integrity, not for you, fat fuck. And then you just know, okay, I'm standing for 3 hours. It is what it is. Whoa! My dog just decided to have a conniption. Chairs at the doctor's offices, they're sturdy, but they're not comfortable. So, I just kind of I'm weary of them. You know what I mean? I look at them you guys gone into doctor's offices recently? You see the extra wide fat ass seats? Where it's that's for two, and it's yeah, no, it's not. That's for
but you got the skinniest motherfucker sitting in them.
Mm-hmm.
That actually could fit my wife and my two kids, all in the same.
Yeah, those are meant for people that don't there's that woman that is what is she suing the airline or whatever it is or she's a TikTok influencer, and she's morbidly obese. It takes a week to get across her ass. It's just and she's bitching that airlines are fat phobic because the aisles are so narrow.
How brave of her.
How brave.
You know what?
That dog
when I walk down the aisle, everybody that's sitting on my ass side, they just either move their head or they're gonna get bumped as I walk by.
Here's the thing. We're all on a giant tin can that may or may not fall out of the sky. My ass being in your face, and here's the thing, fat people, wash yourself before going on a fucking plane. Don't go on a fucking plane smelly ass to where if you gotta angle your fat ass to get through the aisle, your ass isn't stinking some poor person's face up. There's etiquette. Fat people need to understand, if you're gonna be fat, be fat. I'm fat. Nobody gives a fuck if you're fat. Just don't be disgusting. If you're gonna be disgusting, expect some fucking ridicule, because there's nothing worse than a fat, disgusting fuck. It's just how it is. I'm fat and I'm in public and I'm looking at some of them just if you weren't using that Amigo buggy, you wouldn't be so fucking fat. That's just how I look at it. I'm sorry. It's the fucking truth. If you got your fat ass out of that scooter and walked a little bit, maybe you wouldn't be so goddamn fat. Meanwhile, in this grocery store, the scooter's full of cookies and sugar soda. Everything they could pod. I go to Sam's Club and seeing some of these people's carts, where it's just a 36 count box of Chips Ahoy, and it's just what the fuck are you doing? You don't need, how many, do you have 10 kids? Because that's the only reason you need that many boxes of fucking cookies is if you got 10 kids. And it's all shit. I'm over here happy because they started selling fucking Sprite Zero. You know how jealous I am of people that can walk into Sam's Club and just pick up a 36 count of Lipton Brisk and go home happy? I can't fucking do that.
We
Lewis
were at
can.
Walmart, and there was a old lady. She wasn't obese, but she wasn't good. She looked like she was not doing well, and she was riding one of those scooters, and she stopped me and Shay, and she's like, she's she's like, "Do you guys like biscuits and gravy?" And we're like, "Yeah." And she's pointing to like the ready to go meals, and she's like, "They make a biscuits and gravy one. Could you find it for me?" And we go look, and Shay grabs one. And she's like, "Here you go." And she's like, "No, I need 20 of them."
Jesus.
So like the carts, the motorized scooter carts aren't that big though. So she drove away like not really being able to see over the 20 fucking boxes of ready to go biscuits and gravy. And she
Oh,
was like trying to sell us on it. She's like, "It's just so good." And we're like, "Yeah, we
It's
know."
got so
Like,
much sodium in it. It's wonderful.
yeah.
Well, that's
Oh
like
god.
changing the diet around as, shit's now saltier. Like when you're unhealthy, everything's great. Everything is fucking great. Like if you're not worried about what you're eating, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how salty shit is or how sugary it is. And then when you start fucking paying attention and trying to eat better, things just become saltier and they become sweeter and not in good ways. Now it's like, oh, that's got to have sugar in it. I'm not eating another touch. I looked at the fucking Lunchables. It's a Lunchable with 5 crackers, 5 pieces of meat, 5 little squares of stupid cheese, and 2 cookies. 39 fucking carbs in this little Lunchable. I'm just like, okay, not having that anymore. What is it? You grab them all for her, Fabian asked. I would have told her to find someone who works there. And like, I tell you what, you gotta fight for what you want, right? Go fight for that biscuits and gravy. I mean, I love biscuits and gravy, and I did see, this is the fat boy in me. Sam's Club now does sell like a 24 count flat of Southern style biscuits. So the biscuits you want with biscuits and gravy, not like the Pillsbury whatevers. And I was like, man, that would be awesome to make for breakfast. And then it's like, but only so much of that shit I can eat.
yeah.
Like carbs aren't my problem. Like I'm not a huge bread guy as is, so that's not a big deal. It's staying away from sugar. The sugars.
That's the thing is if sugar, like anything doesn't have a lot of sugar, has a lot of sodium.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just gonna eat water, I guess.
that's the Crystal Light packets. You're just gonna start pouring them dry mouthed in your mouth at a time.
Dry mouth.
Just so you can fucking feel something. I'll swig it down with water. I don't give a shit. Give me a beer.
Before you head to the gym.
I did find out once I want to, once I'm not on antibiotics, once I'm off of fucking pain pills, Maker's Mark has no carbs or no sugar. So my drink of choice is still safe. I actually saw for the dog, there's a plushy bottle that's called Barker's Mark.
Nice.
And it's like $13 on Amazon, and I'm considering it. I'm not going to lie. It's cute.
My
I
dog
want to
got a
get
bong.
Hopper a little poop emoji because he likes to eat shit.
Oof. I hope you got like the heartworm shit for him.
Yeah, we got medication and a toothbrush.
Toothbrush just fucking washes his mouth out with a hose every time. Middle of winter. You need your hosing, boy. We keep a warmed hose just for you. Oh, so what were you talking about? What have you... Oh, wait. Go on.
What? Yeah, we were talking about what we've been watching. I have been watching... I really like historical fiction. I've
the
been
Bible?
reading the...
I did that for you, Giovanni.
The Outlander books, which are notoriously very spicy. So we started watching the show. No, lots of sex.
Oh, it's Game of Thrones, but during the Civil War.
Yeah, well, it's Game of Thrones, but like way more sex.
Here's the thing that people never think about in those shows. Everybody fucking had to stink. Like they depicted as this like romantic, like fiery, passionate sex, and it's like, I'm pretty sure both of you, despite only one of you having a set, both of you smell like balls.
Well, it's the same thing with watching, like, one of my favorite shows, Mad Men. Smoking back then, a lot of cigarettes didn't have good filters. Everyone stunk.
Oh,
Everyone
well, I mean,
like ass.
Dude, like, back then, that's when doctors were recommending them, too, though. Like, got a headache? Smoke a Marlboro. Feel better.
And their fingers with the nicotine burns and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, the amount of tar that's just, like, built up on all of their shit.
Anybody who has a mustache.
Yeah, that's why it turns, like, Yellow.
Yellowish. Yep.
I've got plenty of creams and oils.
We've been watching Outlander, and we've also been watching. I've been watching a bunch of shitty horror movies because I just got Screambox in. But a show
Let me ask you about that. Why is there no, like, there's not even any good B-level horror movies coming out. Like, the ones that are B-level aren't good coming out right now.
They're slowly starting to get quote unquote exclusives that are all indie stuff. They just bagged that Chucky documentary. They have a Robert Englund documentary. They're getting more popular.
The Robert Englund documentary, he was Freddy Krueger and nothing else.
There already is a 6-hour Nightmare on Elm Street documentary.
Like, what do you need to know about Robert Englund? He was a failed actor until he got the Freddy role, and then the only movies he's known for is the Freddy movies. Everything thereafter was shit B movie. Poor Robert Englund.
967 Evil, or
I did like his Phantom of the Opera, though. I'm not gonna lie.
the show I have been wanting to watch. I don't know why. It's a good show I haven't watched in forever. Is I want to watch the original Quantum Leap, and I don't know if it's streaming anywhere.
It's probably on Peacock,
Peacock.
along with the
It
new
is on
one.
Peacock.
Dude, I don't know, man. That ending is just so sad.
They've got your episode too that you were talking about.
Wait a
I'm
minute.
halfway through it already. I love
I'm a
Quantum Leap.
retard.
So sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm retarded.
If you think about it, the ending is sad.
Well,
It's
it is,
not
and you know what
sad,
the
but
shitty thing is?
It's kind of dark.
They offered him like to come back into the new series and like complete the loop, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm done with that chapter of my life."
And all you had to do was one episode.
All he had to do is an episode where like the dude comes across Sam and brings him back. Like that's all he had to do.
Well, in this new rebirth of it, Sam is technically they still think he's alive somewhere.
Yeah,
They just don't
and
know where.
they could have like given closure to people who watched the original series.
But it's still open to where if he ever does change his mind.
Why don't they just fucking recast it, or here, better yet, do the digital face recreation?
Mm-hmm.
Like fuck Scott
They can do
Bakula.
Yeah.
What
Like,
if they do it as bad as some of our intro filters?
yeah, hire me. I'm sure there's
just like all distorted.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If the truth is on that, if I took more time and figured out Reface's bullshit to where you can upload stuff, and they're very finicky about what you can upload, but if I were to take hours of my week to do that, I could get better clips, but I honestly find it funny as shit when it's like Lewis is screaming and then his face disappears.
I love that all of them are nightmare fuel.
I find the ones I find the funniest are me on women's faces. There's just something disturbing about like a hot woman with a fucking goatee.
And a lot of
Sometimes it
faces
looks like
for
this.
you that doesn't quite wrap around. You just look like
Yeah,
you're on the spectrum.
my one eye is at a 2D platform somehow. It's like what the yeah, and all for some reason it gives me a dead eye, and I don't have a dead eye. Like it's always in a weird corner.
It always looks like the Mac and Me thing that when your mouth goes.
Fucking Mac and Me, the longest McDonald's commercial ever made.
Ronnie, what have you been watching?
We've been doing a lot of documentaries. We just finished MH370, The Flight That Disappeared. That one was really good. That was really good.
Was
To
that
watch
on
when that
Netflix?
plane that plane just fucking
Was
went
that the
wild.
Malaysian
and it's
one?
Crazy. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
hear
we
what
did
happened
that
today
one.
or Thursday? That somebody fucking on a flight from Korea, they fucking opened up the thing and it fucking blew off while they were in the air.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
And,
There was a
and-
flight in the 90s. There
video.
was a Korean flight where the roof of the plane blew off and the plane landed and only one person died. It was a flight attendant who got yeeted right out of the plane.
What a
Everyone
shitty
else
way to
lived.
die. Just fucking
Yeah.
sucked out of a plane. That's a horror movie. That's a Final Destination. Like that's
We've also
literally
been watching
the end of a Final Destination where death finally gets them. That's like 1 year later, and then the only one that gets sucked out of a plane.
We've been finishing Yellowstone, and I just found out that season 5 is it. That's it. I was so pissed.
Don't worry, there's like 16
there's no
spin-offs
closure?
in the works.
Oh, they've ended the show?
Yeah, because the
he left?
Costner. Yeah.
I was so pissed. But
What
yeah,
else does
that's
man
what
have
we're
going on in
finishing.
his life?
didn't Costner say he's retired now? Like he's done? Or
Might have. I don't know. I thought he was retired before he was in Yellowstone. And Open Range is a good movie.
It's a good show we haven't finished. Yellow Jackets.
I've had
I just
interest
started
in
that.
yeah.
We've been watching Walking Dead and Community. And
Walking Dead is such a drag. I want to watch it all. But...
So it's really
a good show you should check out that Anthony turned me on to is Atlanta.
With Childish Gambino.
That show is fucking
I've seen
good.
clips of it, and I am interested into it. And I'm a huge Community guy, but like, Walking Dead is just like we've come to season 9, where Rick, like 3 episodes in, gets blown off of a bridge, and everybody, like, it's literally he gets blown off of a bridge. Some weird shit happens where they take him up in a helicopter, and then you're like, oh man, I wonder what the next episode's gonna bring. And the next episode starts off, and it's like 6 years later, and he's still hasn't come back. Everybody just presumes he's dead. Like none of the territories are working together anymore. Everybody's kind of estranged from each other, and it's like, what in the fuck is going on?
Was there a strike or something that happened? Like
no, just shitty writing.
He was done with the show. All he had left was 1 or 2 movies, and that's all he's gonna do.
No, they were gonna do
now
those.
It's gonna be a mini series.
It's a mini series with him and Michonne, which the description is like a love story, blah blah blah. So he's clearly alive. He'll probably, I presumably he comes back at like the last episode of the show or some shit. But like just the idea, and here's the problem, right? If you've never watched Walking Dead, there's so many, like there's a Maggie and Negan show, so you know Maggie and Negan don't die. There's a Rick and Michonne show coming, so you know they don't die. They like. So a lot of that shit gets spoiled from you just by proxy because there's so many spinoffs coming out. And the
That's
whole
such
thing,
a weird write-off, though.
Well, the whole thing with him was he was supposed to have 2 movies, presumably, that would explain what happened on the in-between, which I'd like to see what the fuck that's about, because it's literally like, you know, the one character's like communicating with these helicopter people, and she's like, I have somebody for you, you know, he's a friend, you need to save his life. And then the last shot you see of Rick is him going up in the air in the helicopter, and they frame it like, oh, you'll see him at the end of the season. And he never comes back. He's just done.
You don't see him, but in what's the other one? Fear the Walking Dead, not the other one.
Fear the Walking Dead is the other one.
No, Walking Dead Beyond.
The fuck is that?
That's the other one that
How many fucking Walking Dead shows are there?
Oh my god! All right, so you just
3.
made me angry. So I subscribed to AMC Plus because I kept seeing an ad, and it's like Walking Dead Universe. You go on AMC Plus, you don't have all of the Walking Dead on there. You don't even have the main show.
You know who does?
They just
Netflix.
no, but so
they only have Walking Dead.
No, they don't have the main show right now. They have all of Fear the Walking Dead. They have Walking Dead Beyond.
Yeah.
They have Tales of the Walking.
Wait,
there's
what?
all these stupid.
That's the internet. That's the internet one.
What is the difference between the 3 shows besides different groups of people?
Timeline.
Different groups of people.
different areas of the country and different timeline.
So Fear the Walking Dead starts off at the beginning of the whole zombie outbreak, and then Walking Dead actually catches up to them, or no, they catch up to Walking Dead, and Beyond is what's happening from the helicopter scene with what's his name.
So wait, he's in Beyond?
No.
What the fuck?
But he's referenced.
I don't. Oh my god, dude.
That's the only one I'm gonna watch is Walking Dead, and I'll probably check out the spin-offs if they're any good. The one with Negan and Maggie actually looks like it's filmed kind of cool. It's a different style of a show. I've seen a trailer.
And those Tales ones, those were all the internet ones that they made like mini like.
Fuck that! I tell you what, I bought a bundle of the Walking Dead video games by the Telltale Games. I'm gonna watch The Walking Dead and just play through those, and those are canon. Fuck it.
The video games are actually really good in my opinion.
Dude,
I like those.
My favorite Telltale Games game is Wolf Among Us.
That's good.
I thought that game was awesome. Right? Yeah, I believe so. Wow, guys, we have movies to review.
We do.
Did everybody say what they were watching?
About
Alex,
this podcast.
No, it's never gonna change. I almost died and I didn't fucking change. Come on.
We have ADD.
Yeah, we should have just named it the ADD broadcast. Then we would have gotten sued by some fucking group. We actually have ADHD. What's that? We actually have ADHD. Sorry, I thought I heard a squirrel. Alex, did you say what you were watching?
Monk.
Oh yeah, Monk. Yeah,
Monk.
Well, like
I did watch 3 Arnold movies like all in one day. Like I just kept binging Arnold.
I want to watch that Fubar show, but I'm going to watch it with Jen.
Yeah,
oh, by the way, gentlemen, John Wick 4 is in the Voodoo. I will be watching it this weekend.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me know if you're gonna watch it, and just so we can organize
Just
it.
let me know when you're done watching it, and I'll
Okay,
just
yeah.
jump in there.
Let us know when you're watching it so we can keep trying to watch it.
Keep
Piss you off.
kicking me out. I just fucking sign every single device that isn't on my. It's $7.99 per device, everybody. Fucking what a racket Netflix has. These motherfuckers, when Netflix was really starting to get popular, no man, share your passwords. We want everybody to experience it, man. And now it's like, yo, you want to use your buddy? Like, I don't give a shit if it's your brother that you live with for 10 years and now he moved out on his own. That's $8, motherfucker. Lewis has an eternal fire burning against Netflix.
You saw those two
Fuck
pictures I
Netflix.
sent you, right? The one from Prime UK.
Oh,
where it
yeah,
says
where
who's
they're
watching,
mocking
and
him.
it says everyone who has our password.
I mean, I will say, there is some validity to being like, it depends on what their metrics are, right? Like, if they're looking at, like, for every one subscription, they're registering 12 devices, and, like, 3 of the devices are at that IP. Like, I guess I kind of understand, but in the same token, it's like, how about you spend less millions on shitty shows you cancel after one season then?
For $20, you get 8 profiles that you can create on your account. If I could create 8 profiles, why can't it be anybody in my family?
Yeah, exactly.
And limit it to that.
Netflix is like the Nintendo bloat. Like when you go on Switch, you look at the eShop games and it's just bloatware. That's all Netflix shit that they put out.
It's not just the
It's all
eShop, dude.
garbage.
I was looking at the PSN market today, and by the time you get like 40% down the list, it's nothing but garbage. It's games
Dude, it's getting bad.
It's games. Yeah, well, there's too many indie developers now. Like, every asshole who has Unreal assets can make a shithole game. And that's where part of my frustration with the whole pixel art thing comes in, because it's like, a great pixel art game is something to play and behold. But for every one good pixel art game, there's 10 shit indie developed ones that are just made by one dude and it's completely garbage. Like, for every one Celeste, there's 10 fucking random nothings that are all
Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Oh, dude. I saw a preview of that game and I was like, this game looks like shit. And then the fucking reviews, every review I've seen is just like, what a piece of trash. Like,
There
Vince
was a driver
McMahon hates
update
it.
for that game. There's a driver update for that game.
And it's probably still fucking broken. It just
Redfall
looks
doesn't
boring.
look any better either.
Well, Redfall, I will give Redfall credit. I played it. It is what it is. There's several problems to it. It's bland is the biggest problem. It's generic, and like the gun combat feels off, and the enemy AI is literally like, walk forward, stop, shoot at you. Okay, walk this way, stop, shoot at you. Like, it's
some of the AI doesn't. I've stood next to AI and they're throwing bombs at people away from me, and I'm like, I'm right here, dude. Like,
yeah, I played it a little bit and did not enjoy it. I think any game coming out now that doesn't have a 60 frames per second mode on consoles is pathetic, which Redfall did not have. There is no options.
They had to put a sticker on their fucking cases so they wouldn't get sued.
That's because that's industry standard. Really has become 60 frames now. Like, these next gen consoles, there's no excuses why modern games at least doesn't have a 60 frames mode. Because every game that is getting, upgraded to the next gens is all 60 frames. Spider-Man, you mean to tell me Ghost of Tsushima can have a 60 frames 4K mode, and these other games can't? The game's fucking beautiful.
Out of that game, right?
What's that?
Yeah, they are. They're making a movie out of it.
Same director as who's directing it? Oh, I think it's the John Wick director.
I've never seen much of that game other than like trailers and stills, but it looks gorgeous.
I watched the whole playthrough. It's beautiful.
It's an amazing story. It's an amazing game, and one of the few games to actually make me genuinely sad, because there's a story arc that you follow, and it's like the woman who raised you, and like who you kind of look at as your mom, and you literally go through this kind of like generic quest of like going to little things with her and looking at like praying with her, and then it ends with her kind of like you're both sitting watching the sunset and she dies next to you.
Yeah.
It was one of those games where I was like, usually only things with dogs get me, but this one I was like, fuck, that's okay. A beautiful game, amazing game. But like Elden Ring can run at 60 frames a second, right? How the fuck can, you know what I mean? Like, Where's Redfall can't run at 60 frames a second? That just sounds lazy to me. Either that or your game is horribly unoptimized. But like I said, Dead Island 2 is like it may not deserve a game of the year for whatever, but
That game looks fun.
Fuck, is it fun? It probably my favorite gaming experience. Evil West is starting to, I don't know, starting to climb that though. There are some technical bugs, but it's an amazing game. It's fun as shit. All right, so let's talk Scream. Now, Scream 6 is a sequel to Scream 5, which was a sequel to Scream 4. And so on and so on. Yeah, exactly. Alex, you want to talk a little bit about
lead into that.
I don't want to trash it too hard yet. Alex, did you have specific things you wanted to bring up about Scream 5 in relation with Scream 6?
Other than fucking Dewey's in there. Not Dewey fucking.
By the way, what a great name that guy has in real life. Like, he's so lucky that his dad is Dennis Quaid or whatever the fuck his name is, because like his name is Jack Quaid. Like, that's I am not Quaid. Like, that is literally a movie's last name. Like, you know,
Quaid.
Like, he's got an awesome fucking name. Like, he doesn't need to do anything. He's Jack Quaid.
But yeah, he's Dewey from oh shit, I can't think of the name of the show.
The Boys.
Yeah, The Boys. Which is also another good show that I'm waiting to watch the next season of.
I can't wait for the next season.
Oh man, there was a couple castings that they're adding that sounded really good. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Negan.
He does a really good job playing his role there. He's kind of like stupid at first, but it like plays into it later.
I don't know, man. By the end of the third season, when he starts dealing with the powers, I was like, Dewey, what are you doing?
I was talking about Scream, but okay.
Oh, I liked him in Scream.
You're
Scream
talking
5.
About Scream 5, right?
Yeah. Because he said anything about Scream 5 that we want to talk about before we get started.
I mean, it's because Scream 5, you really have, I don't know, like, you have to watch them all. You have to watch number 1 to understand 2 and 3. And you really kind of have to watch number 5 to understand 6. Was Hayden Panettiere in number 4? I don't think so, right? Was she?
She was in 4.
Was she 4, 5,
4.
and 6?
Yeah, when they went social media.
Okay, so like,
I think she's 65 years old now.
Right? What the Hillary Clinton is in Scream 6. What the fuck happened to her?
You gotta save the cheerleader, man. You gotta save the cheerleader, save the world.
She's not a cheerleader anymore. She's fucking half plastic, half pregnant. Like, what the fuck was wrong with her?
Scream 5, they did a good job of, like, you don't have to watch 1 through 4. If you've never seen Scream and you started with Scream 5, it was very well like, this is previous.
Well,
this is up till now.
The beginning points out essentially like who the players are. Like, that's her. That's, you know, the blah blah blah. And so, like, yeah, they bring you. You're right. Number 1 through 4 are kind of inconsequential, but you have to watch number 5 to understand number 6 at all.
You do,
like, at all.
And that's why when we decided these movies, I asked Matt, which one of the new Screams are we watching? And I chose to watch 5, and I'm glad I did, because if I would have jumped straight into 6, I would have been fucking.
You'd have been, by the end of it, you'd have been like, "Who gives a fuck?" Like, what the fuck is going on here? Full spoiler. If you haven't seen it, go watch. I mean, here's the thing: Scream 5 deals with Dewey's or Scream 6 deals with Dewey's family, and if you watch Scream 5, you understand that Dewey was murdered at the end of Scream 5. He was the villain, one of the villains.
Not Deputy Dewey.
No, yeah. It's time when I'm cleaning my room.
We meant Dewey the actor playing.
What? Oh, Officer Doofy.
Yeah.
That was the saddest part of Scream 5 for me. I was like, oh, they're killing Dewey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is worth noting the team that did this movie, Scream 5 and Scream 6, their 2 directors, Matt and Tyler, they have had their hands in all of the VHS movies. Southbound, they did Ready or Not.
Ready or Not's a great movie.
And I'm not, I mean, we can dive into both these movies, but I'm not the biggest Scream fan. But both of these movies look really good.
Yeah.
I kind of miss the golden era of the Scream movies where you had like I Know What You Did Last Summer came out around the same time, and like that year of movies was really awesome, or a couple of years.
I'm not a Scream guy because I don't care for meta horror. I find it, I hate to use the word cringe, but very cringy. Also, like if you go to a horror convention or you're in like horror group chats or like Facebook pages, everyone says that Scream is the greatest slasher franchise, and I fucking disagree with that.
Nope.
But both
What
these
would you
movies
say is
look
the
good.
greatest? Just curious.
I don't know, but I don't think it's Scream. Don't think it's Scream.
I would argue from a pure slasher point of view, the greatest is probably the Friday the 13th, as far as pure slasher.
Yeah, I
If
think
we're
you
talking
have
pure
to go.
slasher, yeah, it's Friday the 13th. I love
Like
Jason though, so
Scream would
Yeah.
not even have its references and all that if it weren't for the slashers that come before it. I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff in the 60s, 70s, and 80s that are real slashers.
Well, maybe
But
that's what I didn't like about Scream 6 was the meta, the over meta, because it was like it was a level of meta in that they were still doing the same scary movie tropes, but then it was a level of meta of like the villains are actually the family of the guy from number 5 who was in his own
And-
character was way too meta.
5 and 6 kind of pissed me off with the whole. Well, no, the rules are changing. When they kept doing that thing, then I was like, who fucking cares? Why are
So-
you doing it like that?
on that, I know the first movie was all about like the rules. I think Scream 1 did so well because they took everything you expected and kind of like, well, this we're pointing it out, here it is, and then kind of tiptoed their way around that to catch you off
Like we
guard.
just told you what was going to happen, and you still
Yeah.
are surprised.
Mhm.
I can't
See, but
remember if
I
2
still
through
think
4 were like that.
there was a
Did they
better
have
meta
that?
horror movie that came out before Scream, and it was New Nightmare.
I've never seen that.
Freddy Krueger?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street, to be honest with you.
that's the Nightmare on Elm Street where they're filming the movie.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm
okay, yeah,
Street.
yeah,
Talks
okay.
about his dream.
Yeah, I think that's the best Nightmare on Elm Street. I love that one, personally.
I do remember that.
And Freddy lost his glove. It was his hand now.
Well, the problem with the Scream movies is, like, number 1, I really liked. Number 2 fell off the wagon. And by number 3, it was just like, what? Like, number 3 wasn't great. Number 4, I liked. One of my favorite scenes in number 4 was Anthony Anderson getting stabbed in the fucking face. And him like, trying to, like, he's, like, touching his face and it's just pouring down. I will say that the brutal violence in the new ones is quite welcome. Because they're pretty rough
5,
movies.
She gets
Yeah,
stabbed
they are.
fucking how many times in 5?
Yeah. Also, I really get annoyed with their rules because it's like in number 5, it's a little chick fucking flipping Dewey into fucking cabinets and shit. Like, how does that
Yeah,
make any
well,
sense?
Not only that, but you get to the end of 6 and you're like, are these dudes like all Dom Toretto that they could fucking survive anything? Like it's
Yeah.
just a little it's
I mean,
too
Dude, the
ham-fisted.
kid who gets back up after getting stabbed, like how
in
did
the
he
face,
survive that?
in the mouth, like yeah.
Like
They're all Terminators
No
until
way.
they're not. Like it's literally like in number 6 at the end with when the chick comes back and she just shoots her in the face and it's finally done and it's like that's all you had to do. Like why do these movies treat stab wounds like they're nothing?
Yeah.
Like that the blades they're using are big. They're semi-curved, yet you can get stabbed 6
Oh my
times
God.
and be like, I'm cool.
what's his face? Chad, who survives? I'm like,
Yeah.
how?
It was
Fucking how?
literally a
Twice.
gangbang of stabbings.
Twice. Yeah.
I'm like, how?
It was almost comic how like as they're like running away, the 2 screams are just in the background. Like it was, and he's
Yeah.
still in the
Like
end.
when
He's
he
like, I
survived
made
in
it,
5, I
guys.
was like, okay, I'll give it to you. But 6, I'm like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, because 5 was
why-
kind of off-screen-ish.
I think they're painting themselves in a corner. They want obviously Paramount wants them to continue this franchise. It's getting Fast and the Furious goofy. Like it's
Yeah.
getting too goofy.
Speaking of which, that movie is not being reviewed well.
Scream in space.
Really?
Fast X or whatever it is, it did wonderfully in theaters, as I don't think anybody thought it wouldn't. I mean, they always make money. There's
Was
always
that in
idiots.
China?
World needs ditch diggers too. Probably quite a bit of it. Although I
Well-
don't know how China allows those movies in theaters with so many black folk.
Well, with Michelle Rodriguez, she at the press conference for Dungeons and
Michelle
Dragons,
Rodriguez.
she said, what the hell is with Marvel and all these movies and where they gonna go from here?
Yeah, right.
And
How
she's
many
doing
fucking
Fast 10?
Yeah, she's
Over
like
25 years.
how many Marvel movies can you make? And it's like, how many fucking Fast and the Furious can you make? You goofy
And
bitch!
how
You weren't
many- how
even
many
in
times
half of
she-
them.
How many times has she been brought back to dead? Back from
Yeah,
from the
dude,
dead?
I fucking
By Fast 15, they're all gonna have superpowers. I fucking
well,
swear.
well, then they made a big
Well, they
deal
said
about
Toretto
how
does.
her and fucking Charlize Theron's fight scene in the movie. The director wasn't even there. Oh, okay, but the cinematographer, the fight choreographer, they were all there. So what the fuck? Who cares if the director wasn't there?
Poor director probably just had the shits that day.
Right?
And he's like, why is everyone saying I wasn't there?
Fucking bad sushi one day, and Michelle Rodriguez thinks she made the movie for you.
Or was that the day that the other director quit? They brought in the other director after that. So
What I mean, but the idea that like you're taking credit for this scene, and it's like there's 30 people behind the scenes making this fucking movie. The director is one of them.
There is one actor that when he wants to take credit for something, I believe it, and I don't even like him, and it's fucking Tom Cruise. Because that man actually does shit.
Yeah, he's insane.
Tom Cruise is
like, I feel like he actually, considering he's got no fear of heights, presumably, I feel like he's one of he's the only person in the world that's actually been in space because he's a goddamn alien.
The one bike scene in Mission Impossible where he jumps off and then lets go, the fucker did it 6 times. 6 times.
Well, you got to give him credit for being. We all saw the outtake of him when he broke his leg.
Yeah,
he literally breaks it, gets up, and continues to run so the scene isn't fucked. Because he knows how much, because he's producing these. So he's like, literally, I swear to God, he looks at it like it's the Matrix, but every time there's an issue, it's dollar signs he's seeing. Like when the whole COVID thing happened.
The scene where he's strapped to the outside of a fucking jet.
And then,
he did that. Yeah, he did that scene.
The fight scene in the bathroom, I guess, was supposed to take like 3 days, and it took 4 weeks to film.
Jesus.
With him and Cavill and the other actor. I don't remember who exactly that was, to be honest with you.
When he fought Cavill's mustache?
Yeah, and then he does the double pump. I saw so many clips of Tom Cruise. He just did this thing, and then it cuts to Cavill, and Cavill's just like, I had to get blood in my arms. We were filming for a while. Like that whole where he pumps himself up. The way he explains it was literally his arms were tired. They kept doing the scenes over and over, and he needed to get blood flow in his arms. That's why he did it.
So if you have your hands constantly like this, I can see that.
Like, so he's just like, all right, let's get some blood going, guys. And like Tom Cruise got a boner, and he's like, do it again! Again! Tom Cruise is a dictator. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
He likes to sacrifice those people in that fucking volcano for his fucking life.
He's got something going on. He's got the old Azteca fucking sacker. He's got that weird blade, and he's on the top of a temple.
Maybe Tom Cruise is Xenu.
Tom Cruise actually died a long time ago.
Man, I'm telling you.
Just David Miscavige wearing a Tom Cruise suit.
It's all reface.
Scooby-Doo's gonna come out and fucking gonna unzip his hat.
It was him the whole time. I don't know. I liked Scream 6. I do agree,
I didn't
though.
like it too much.
The goofiness is getting out of hand, and then the suspension of logic is really a problem too, because it's like, they're on a train full of people, and you think you honestly, for one thing, train power doesn't work that way. Like I've been in, it's never like on and off like that. No. So this idea that like you can just stab a woman to death and nobody would notice, like, come on. Or no, she wasn't dead. Also, that's right. She fucking comes back.
Don't you think this many years into the movies world franchise, if there have been this many deaths, like production company, this fake production company would be like, maybe we shouldn't make another stab movie. Like,
right?
Maybe it's a problem.
Yeah, the families, did some kind of injunction to stop that shit.
Dude, look how much flack the Jeffrey Dahmer movie got.
Yeah,
like there's not going to be a sequel. Like if this was real life, somebody would have. So yeah, right. Like no, we're exploring his younger years.
With young Sheldon, but young Jeffrey.
I'd love an ice cream, mother. But yeah, like it's just getting to the point where like I'd be okay if they did because they'll do another one simply because it's making money.
To say where do you think they go from here?
The main girl is the killer.
They were really steering towards that. See, if it were,
that's what they're steering towards.
If it were me, in the first scene, the first 10 minutes of movie would be a killer going and wiping out everybody who's been in a movie before that. And the whole concept would be there are no rules. So like the first 10 minutes of movie would be he'd be wiping out the main girl for number 5 and 6. He'd be taking care of Courtney Cox. Anybody who survived, the killers in the first 10 minutes would sweep all of them up. and the idea would be nobody's safe, and you return it back to a straight slasher flick where it's we're not
Right, 'cause-
worrying about this family and these victims, and it's just about him being a killer. Like I would go back to, and these double killers need to stop. We
Yeah.
got what, 3 fucking killers in number 6? Come on.
Yeah, first time 3.
I think there was
I-
only
I
one
did
movie where
one.
they said that there was only one Ghostface. That was it.
I think that was number 3.
Yeah.
I did like the throwback to all the different costumes of
Yeah,
Ghostface.
that was pretty cool.
And the
So when
one
I
with the
first saw that,
glitter-
I thought they were going the cult mentality.
Mm,
So
that
I
was
had
alright.
I had a problem
what
with
I
that.
thought.
The
So
cult of Ghostface.
Yeah, I was like,
the
what?
evil the evil cop dad is like, yeah, it's easy to bribe cops to get all of this fucking evidence in a room. Like, that's a little much. Like, come on.
Well, I mean, the whole concept of the dad going, okay, my kid's a fuck up, he's a little weird, whatever, and then he gets murdered being a fuck up, and then you just go and like, well, he loved the ghost face, and you go into purposely to collect everything you can to set up this elaborate ruse so you can just like, there is no logic in a cop flipping
No.
that hard just to murder a girl who killed his son. It's goofy as shit.
Let
It
alone
was- it
getting
was
your
his
only
prized
remaining
son.
kids involved. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
kill.
that goofiness, and like, it kind of reminds me of the way what the Saw franchise evolved into. And Fast and Furious. If
I
it's just
gotta
like
be-
it's zany, we go with it. Like, none of it makes sense.
I gotta
Like,
be
Yeah,
honest.
it's-
I was out of the Saw franchise at Saw 3. Like I've watched
Really?
I've watched them all, but Saw
I-
2 was the last tolerable Saw movie.
I stopped watching them after.
I
they
just
did
like their
3.
kills.
Well, that's all they
Not
are
bad,
anymore. It's
but-
just a collection of fucking murder scenes. Like the
Yeah.
first one
when
at
we
least
were
had a
younger,
story.
it became like every year, like you had to see it. But I don't think it's a good franchise.
I
it's
think
okay.
I think the first Saw movie is really awesome. I think the fact that it's all in all not that violent of a movie really says something. I thought number 2 was cool because they took a lot of the same core concepts, but they made it more violent. They made it more people. And then by number 3, the story gets convoluted. I believe number 3 is the one where 3 or 4 is the one where they end up killing Tobin Bell, and then another person takes the mantle, and then it ends up being the druggy chick from the first one that he put in the jaw trap, and it just gets so
Right.
the story itself gets convoluted, and the movies
Not only
become
that-
nothing more than like, how is this person gonna die?
Mhm.
How many fucking recordings did he do in prep of all that other shit? Because they still use his voice for different things.
Oh, he had to have stock in that tape company.
Right.
Like,
He's just over here like he's just annoyed because he's got to spend his night. He's dying of cancer, but he's
Yeah,
spending
and-
his
yeah,
nights
that's-
recording shit on a tape recorder.
He's also dying of cancer, and he's got the energy to keep recording.
One of the cool things in the Saw movie is when they're in the hospital in the first one and you see him in the hospital bed, but you don't know it's him.
Mhm.
If you pay attention, he's designing the one trap. Like he's got a notebook and a pencil. He was drawing the one. I believe it's the jaw trap.
Okay.
I love the first Saw. The whole concept of, the last shot you
When-
get is game over, and then it goes pitch black and it's nothing but screaming. But then it's
Yeah.
like, doesn't Carrie Ells come back into the franchise at some point?
yeah, everyone comes.
It's like,
back.
what the fuck? They all become Fast and the Furious.
Yep.
During
think-
that time,
Oh, go on.
I was gonna. During that time, didn't Hostel also come out?
Dude, Hostel is the
Around-
biggest overrated
Yeah.
piece of shit I've ever fucking seen. When that
The
movie
first
came
one I
out,
liked.
but when it came
I
out,
don't
it was
like
like,
any
oh,
of
this is
them.
the most violent movie you've ever seen. And then you
That's-
watch it and you're like,
That's
that's not that bad."
because Eli Roth's movies he makes are dog shit. Movies he produces, amazing. Produces a lot of amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like Tarantino. He just puts his name on shit.
Yeah, Haunt. He produced Haunt. It's one of my favorite movies.
I liked Haunt. Haunt was that was a good one. I don't know if
I-
we
I don't-
reviewed that one, didn't we?
He did. I
Yeah.
think a long
I
time
think it was a
ago.
Halloween episode we did it on.
Shit.
I don't know where Scream goes. I think, and they would never do this. I think, like Giovanni said, like a factory reset of like kill off these characters, keep it gorier, make it gorier if you want. Like bring back like what a slasher in the 70s was to a new audience. Like this is fucked up. Like make a really fucked up slasher movie.
Mhm.
And you can have the goofiness, but like there were the super violent scenes in Scream 5 and 6. When I saw them, I was like, holy shit, I'm seeing this in a Scream movie. Like I want more of that reaction.
I mean, I will say also
Um,
at this point, maybe go supernatural with it. Like I know that's kind of a
I was about
cliche,
to
but
say,
like start making him like Jason, where he just fucking appears.
yeah.
Like I mean, if you're gonna be,
Just don't give us that answer. Like allude
Yeah.
to like
yeah,
yeah, don't ever let me know. Like, don't do a Scream movie where you kill the killer and you don't unmask him, and have the killer be killed by another killer that just does it and leaves. Like, why enough of giving the ghost face somebody behind the mask? Make the mask the villain. And I think that's the
Dom
big
Toretto
problem
behind the
that
mask.
yeah, right. It's about family. What about family? We don't understand. Why did you kill this camp full of children? Family. Dom, what the
You're
fuck?
in the wrong movie, Dom.
You drove over 4 of them with your Charger. What are you
They
doing?
should, if they do go supernatural, they got to bring back Skeet Ulrich.
He was in the number 6 as
Yeah,
a
I know.
cameo.
It's in
And
her.
boy-
It's in her head.
boy, he
in
didn't
his
look
daughter's
good.
head.
He looked
I
haggard.
also think that the balance. I think 5 was so good over 6 because they went back to the original, but they didn't let the original kind of overshadow it. They still kept they made fun of themselves, but it was a good balance.
Well, yeah,
In 6, that balance goes off the fucking rails.
Well, 5 was at least somebody that was obsessed with the story of what had
Mhm.
happened. 6 was just, oh, you killed my son justifiably? Fuck it, I'm going to give up my entire career. I'm going to bring my kids into it. We're all going to become slashers now
It
because
was.
you killed my
Yeah,
baby
let's say-
boy.
It was Jason's mom coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, five had a. I could say you probably say 5 had an actual villain, whereas 6 just kind of made no sense.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
because he embedded himself. He found the girl. He lived with her. He became like he started dating her.
Yeah. 5 was much
Yeah.
more intelligent in the idea of like the storytelling idea of like it would make sense for this dude. Like that's happened in real life where there's been somebody a woman on the news and like a dude's gotten as close as he possibly could to her just to harm her. Like it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I don't think it's ever
Which-
happened where a
once-
career detective has given up his entire career to become a fucking murderer on behalf of
Right.
his piece of shit son.
No. But 6 starts out where it's almost the same as 5, where Flash is friends with the what's her name?
See, I like that. I like the whole, I like the where Flash kills who was the girl in the beginning that's killed? She's a well-known actress.
Oh, Samara Weaving.
Yeah, it was Samara Weaving. I like the fact that he wipes her out and then gets wiped out himself. I thought that was cool. I thought that was going to take it in a much cooler direction than we went.
I know. I thought too. I was like, oh, we're gonna get random shit.
Yeah, I was like,
I
holy
that.
fuck. Like the copycats again. Like, wouldn't it have been awesome if instead of the whole stupid story about the detective, it was a copycat was wiping out copycats? So every time the copycat goes to try to kill one of them, another Ghostface pops out and he's hunting both of them. Like, it would have been a much cooler dynamic than my baby boy.
It
You
is
kidding me,
weird,
baby
though, that
boy?
putting on their mask gives them fucking superpowers because the way they're
Yeah.
like laying people out and
Well, like
flipping people. And...
David Arquette, literally a small little woman, is able to throw him 6 feet into a fucking trophy case, and like it didn't make any sense. Because by the end of number 5, it's goofy when you think about it. Because it's like, wait, because she even admits that she's the one that kills Dewey,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're like, wait, so you were the one tossing him around that fucking hospital? Like, what? It makes no. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit what in the transgender hell world we're in. You do not have the fucking strength as a 5'4" small thin woman to whip David Arquette 6 feet through a hospital into a trophy case or whatever the fuck it was. Like, it's just way too unrealistic. Like, if it was Michelle Rodriguez from Dungeons with her steroid shoulders, I'd maybe believe that.
I know it made me watch 6 thinking like I kept like trying to gauge the height of
Yeah.
Ghostface in each scene with
It
the person.
never makes sense. Like, it's literally, she's in real life this tall, but her ghost face is like she's on stilts the whole time,
Yeah.
She's
which
on
has got to be
wheels.
hard to balance. She's on those Kevin Hart souls. No, man, I'm 5'9". Sure you are, Kevin.
those fishbowl fucking shoes.
All right, let's give a review. You guys ready to do some hot dogs for this one?
You guys want to throw up a review for 5 as well, just since
Yeah.
we've all seen that?
Louis,
and I'll
do it.
I'll
do
go
it.
first.
Make love.
5 was a pretty solid movie for a comeback.
I'm a
I'd
cop, you
say
idiot!
That would probably be. My scores are not going to be amazing because it's the Scream franchise, but I'd say 5. 5 is probably. I'm going to say a 4. That's being generous.
That's high. That's higher than I'm gonna give it.
Yes, I'm fine with a 4, and 6 be a 3.5 for me. I think 5 was a solid foot. I think 6 they're pigeonholing themselves into it's turning into Fast 10. I'm very interested to see what they do with the franchise. I love the directors. I like the shit they do. And even though I didn't like 6 as much, both movies look really good. So yeah, I'm curiously optimistic to see what they do. But yeah, I'd say 4 and a 3.5.
I'll go. I'm gonna give. I'll give 5 a 3.5, and I'm gonna give 6 a 2.5. Simply because I really do love the violence factor they add into it. The 6 is a brutal movie, and I like the fact that like the Scream movies were always pretty rough, but they weren't like they are now. Like they're pretty rough now, and I appreciate that. I think it should evolve to get more violent, but like just the storyline being so fucked and it's by the end of it too. Like throughout the movie, it wasn't bad. I'm watching, I'm going, oh, that guy's the killer, just fucking calling out everybody.
Do
And
that too.
and then like by the end of the movie,
Shay
when
gets so mad.
yeah, I was like the boyfriend. I was like, he's the killer, and Jen's like, what? And I was like, he's the fucking killer, and he wasn't. And so like by the end of the movie, when you find out it's the detective, and it's just like, this is stupid. Like this is a stupid ending, and it ruined it. 2.5 for that, 3.5 for 5.
For me, 5 was a what was it? Was it 3.5, and then 6 was a 3 for me. 6, I don't know. It was the whole thing. Bring Hayden Panettiere back, whatever you say, how you say.
Hold
it.
on. Yeah, it's Hayden Perk Plus.
Pan.
And can
Panettiere?
we haven't
The
really
cheerleader.
mentioned it too. We mentioned it. What the fuck happened to her? Like
Drugs.
between the last movie I saw her in, which was probably the last Scream, and this one, she looks 100% different. It looks like she got stung by a
I thought you
bee.
were talking about what happened to her in the movie.
So
I was like, oh, what?
I try to approach these, and I was watching the movie with my wife, and I was like, okay, I think she looks like a train wreck, but I'm
She
asked, so what do
does.
you think? And Shay's like, she looks like she's in her 40s.
Yeah,
She's
like she
my
was
age.
she was the
She looks like
cheerleader.
she's been hitting the bottles.
I think
a
she
little
was an
harder.
alcoholic.
There's something with that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not that she's like fat. It's just her face doesn't look like her.
Mm-mm.
It looks like somebody who's been through some shit that.
Yeah, you know, like those people you haven't seen for years, and you see them, and your first thing is like, "Oh my god, what happened to him?"
Like I always
that's
have looked like shit, but
instantly-
holy fuck, she went through the Lindsay Lohan car wash or something. Like she does not look like the cute little cheerleader in Heroes. I'll tell you that.
Nope.
free meth with admission.
Right? Like yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look at photos of her in real life because she just it was so off put. Like I kept telling, and even Jen was like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck's up with her. She looks so different. I had to ask.
She
I was
honestly
like,
looks like she was being held together on set.
being
Like
glued
I
together.
kid you not.
It-
The
you
minute
know-
she showed up, like I felt like if she sneezed, she was gonna fucking fall apart.
It reminds me of it reminds me of watching 911, where Jennifer Love is on there, Jennifer Love Hewitt or whatever,
Mhm.
and the first time they showed her on there, she was like wearing these clothes, like you can see her like moving around, and then like the next season she was wearing overgrown clothes, and that was because she had a child, but now it's like the third or fourth season that she's in, and she's wearing even bigger clothes, and her face is starting to get like chunky. I'm like, what the
Can't
fuck
get
is
rid of
going
that bit.
on?
Well, it's almost like
year by year.
it's like Pam from The Office. Like when she gets pregnant the first time, but she's not pregnant in real life,
Yeah.
and then she gets pregnant in real life, and it's like, oh, you're definitely really pregnant. Like there is a difference in this Pam. And it like, and don't worry, she bounced back way better than Hayden Panettiere did though.
And
Like,
better
fuck,
than
she,
Jennifer
like-
Love too, as well.
Is that how you say her last name?
No,
Is it
it's
Panettiere?
Pantene.
It's something similar. Hayden Panettiere.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I don't know how to say that fucking whatever Italian, Polish name it is. I don't fucking know.
Let me give my score real quick. It's a 3.5 for 5 and a 2 for 6. I did not like 6. I didn't. And the only saving grace for 6 are the kills. They are
Yeah.
way better. If you watch 1 through 4, you can see the evolution. I feel like they can show more. The makeup has gotten better. The effects have gotten better.
Well, number 4 had digital blood.
Oh God, don't
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
I hate
That's it.
that. Hate that.
Yeah, the gore factor in the new ones is actually really good. Like if they could take that brutality and put it to a story that fucking makes sense, it'd be nice. Like-
Also,
digital
in
blood
the
looks
Scream
so bad in
movies,
movies.
Yeah, it does.
the,
It's terrible.
I will say that the actors did a good job reacting to stab effects. A good one is in is it 1 or is it 5? I think it's 5. Yeah, where the guy who's the girl who Chad's dating, the guy who rolls up, the like drifter dude,
Yeah.
when he's in the parking lot and he gets stabbed in the neck, like
Oh,
he
God.
reacted perfectly to that.
Meanwhile,
He's
in
in a
meanwhile, in
mile.
number 6,
Yeah, couple.
Courtney Cox gets stabbed 6 times and thrown into all of her furniture and just, I'm good. I got a gun.
She's another one. She's had so much fucking plastic
Dude,
surgery.
She's been looking rough though. If you go watch an episode of Friends, especially an early episode, and see her now, it's like holy clown makeup.
Well, if you look at you can Google
Oh.
Courtney Cox after plastic surgery, before plastic surgery, and she looks way better before. I don't know who
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
talked her into like.
Was she married to Bruce Willis? Am I thinking
No,
wrong?
no.
No,
That was Demi
he was
Moore.
married to David Arquette.
Yeah.
She was.
Well, that's the thing is when she first divorced him, it's like, oh, poor David Arquette. That's the hottest you're ever gonna get. And then you see her now, and it's like, dodge the bullet, eh? Because he's got like
Well,
a 30-year-old wife and shit now.
who looks just like Courtney Cox from Friends.
and don't
David Arquette owns Bozo the Clown.
it's really odd. He's a creepy motherfucker.
That was a weird.
I like
If they
David
released a
Arquette.
horror
He's
movie,
like
that'd
Paul
be really
Rubens.
cool.
Him and Paul Rubens like to own weird shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but can you
well,
imagine a Bozo the Clown horror movie?
It would be probably as bad as that fucking Winnie the Pooh movie they brought out.
Those are so fucking
I haven't
disturbing.
seen it.
I haven't watched it
That
either, but
That
as
movie's
soon
so bad.
I saw the trailer and I'm like, this is gonna be awful. And then everybody was hyping it, and then the reviews came out and it's like, Winnie the Pooh can't save this movie, and it's like, yeah, it looked awful. Like, why? It looked like a generic slasher with fucking dudes that went to Party City in a Pooh mask.
I guess they're making another one.
There's always gonna be ditch diggers. That's what I was gonna say from now on when people like have bad movies be successful. Those are the ditch diggers of the world. Take my money, and they go sit down for an hour and a half and eat their popcorn and drink their soda, and then go home and narrowly avoid a wreck. Okay, second movie. I have problems with this movie too. Evil Dead Rise. I'll start it off with the negatives. My biggest problem with the latest Evil Dead is the more they make them, the further they get away from the Evil Dead. I don't know when Evil Dead became the movie about ultra gore and ultra gross out. I don't mind the ultra gore, but like, I feel like these movies are taking more from Army of Darkness than they are from actual Evil Dead. Like you're besides the chase camera, which, and here's the thing, Evil Dead Rise, in my opinion, filmed really well. Like there is some really cool shots, like the ones down the hallway with the elevator and the strobe flashing behind,
The people.
and she's just kind of like there in the light. Like there's
The
some
whole shot. The
I
whole
like the
people
people
scene was
scenes,
fucking
yeah,
amazing.
like there's like some of the scenes are really awesomely shot, but like, so I give credit to the director for the cinematography, but like, I don't know, man. Like it didn't feel like an Evil Dead movie to me. When you have them take over the rest of the people in the hallway, it becomes a zombie movie. And I don't know, like, and it wasn't, I don't know. I liked it, but I would have liked it more if it had nothing to do with the Evil Dead franchise.
I was gonna say, I don't remember Evil Dead dealing with like infectious possession like that. I
There
do not
was-
remember that. Even
And
in the
in-
remake,
Well,
no?
they had
In
it.
the
That
very
goes
first one, I think they did
number
something
2 when
like
he
that.
cuts his hand off.
No, and
That's right.
the
His hand was alive, right?
I think it's Army of Darkness introduces the 3 books. Is it
Yeah.
Army of Darkness?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that's what the directors, from the interviews I've seen, he wanted to play with the idea of the other 2 books being different, and that's why The Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rise, according to him, are different.
See, I thought The
I-
Evil Dead was way more like an Evil Dead movie than Rise.
Honestly, I loved them both. I have issues with this movie. The 2 things I do love is there's 2 Stephen King references in it.
Yeah,
Bathroom
The
scene
Shining.
and the elevators.
Yeah.
One thing I really loved about this movie is the annoying people died. Not all of them, but
I also thought she played a possessed necromonger pretty fucking well. Like
Really
the
well.
woman who plays
Yeah.
Mother is really good in this movie.
she is Auslog or Aslog as I like to say it from the Viking show.
Dude, that's where I recognized her from.
Yeah.
Okay, she was the whore that took what's his face away.
Ragnar.
Yeah,
Aslog. Yep.
okay, that's where I thought she did an incredible job in the movie.
She did. She was really, really well done.
And like I said, I thought it was really well shot, but I even thought the idea of it being in this giant, tall, crumbling structure. But a lot of the movie is just, I mean, the movie is the fucking room, the hallway, and the elevator.
It's just that floor,
Yeah,
and
it
it's
should
an
have been
abandoned
floor,
building, so
whatever it
there's not a
was.
lot of people who live there.
It would have been amazing if it was just the building. Can you imagine if you're gonna, let's say you go with, you're going with the idea of the new book can rise them from the dead and make fucking Evil Dead zombies, right? Then how come at the end, there wasn't the threat of everybody else that lived in that building, the 5 or 10 remaining, like. It was so confined to just that area.
From
Yeah,
the
I got a little worried when he checked the stairs and they were knocked out. I was like, oh fuck, it's just this floor. Like that was kind of a little bit of a letdown for me.
I also was a little pissed off about the guy in the other apartment with the shotgun and her never getting a hold of that shotgun. Like, why wasn't there a boomstick reference? Like, if we're gonna go all out and we're gonna just everything is an homage, you have a shotgun in play in the fucking movie, yet you never, like, you couldn't have taken that, and like that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna go with the concept of turning them into fucking zombies, then how come there was no carnage done to those zombies until the end when it becomes one big ball of fucking deadites?
Mm-hmm.
This was another movie where I really like this movie, but I had the same thing at the end of Scream 6. I was like, where do they go from here? Because now the movie introduced like deadite zombies, and clearly we saw the ending to the movie before the movie ended. Is it going to be like fucking Dawn of the Dead?
I tell you,
if they make another one,
Yeah.
If they did that, in my opinion, you'd have to get Bruce Campbell back, and you'd have to have like the main character. The main character meets up with him in the open world.
Well, because then it starts the Army of Darkness, like in the present time.
I do, like I said, I think the biggest problem I have with it is they're pulling way too much from Army of Darkness and not enough from the core of Evil Dead. And like I enjoy this movie. I really like
I like this one.
Some of the shots in it are just like fucking the CG's on point. Like there wasn't a whole lot of stuff that like I didn't like visually. It's just I don't know, man.
The dialogue too, like that scene where the mother is at the sink and she's talking to her kids and then telling them how she just wants to wear their skin, and I'm like, fuck, that's amazing.
That's perfect. And like that's the thing is the dialogue with her getting possessed and all like the shitty things she's saying to him. That's Evil Dead. I thought the chase cameras were done well. I just what's up, Rusty? I just
Going on.
How are you?
I don't know, man. Like I enjoyed it. It was just every time I would get pulled out by the things that did not feel Evil Dead like. And not only did they not feel Evil Dead, but it felt generic. Like you could have taken this movie, removed the Evil Dead element from it completely, and it still would have been a fine movie on its own. And that's a problem for me if it's in the connected universe. Like between him like if he finds the book, right? But other than that and the chase camera, where was the Evil Dead feeling? I like the chainsaw use at the end. I actually don't hate the big baddie at the end of the movie. I thought it was gross out and whatnot. But once again, since when is Evil Dead synonymous with gross out?
Even the Book of the
I
Dead
was a
didn't
little
remind me of Book of the Dead.
I was a little flustered with the baddie. The whole fusion thing, that was a little, I was like,
Like, why
like
couldn't
it was cool for what it was, but yeah, tied to Evil Dead, it was a little rough to kind of accept.
Yeah, like those are the things I had problems with, and like a big part of it is it being confined in the hotel room or the apartment. Like, I wish there had been more room to stretch out, and the only real action you see in the hallway is through the peephole. And then you get a couple shots that are the cool shots where it's like her standing in front of the elevator as the lights flicker. And once again, all of it awesome. Looks awesome, but I don't know, man. Like I wish, like I like when he finds the book, I thought that was cool. But after that it kind of, oh, little shithead.
The little brother death in the hallway. I fucking chuckled at it when he fucking. I don't know, man.
Choking in the eye or get his arms ripped off.
The little boy, his brother, the one that chokes in the eye, his little brother fucking gets like he runs by, and she goes chasing after him, and you fucking see him fly back or something.
I also did appreciate when
I started fucking laughing
when they leave the apartment, like the carnage you see in the hallway. But I would have liked to see that carnage not through a fucking peephole. The peephole scene was cool, but it was a little bit too much peephole scene and not enough just like raw. Like he literally goes at her with a shotgun. You hear him fire, and then the only thing you see of it is when she leaves, he's like his guts are spilled out. I was disappointed by stuff like that, and it's just I don't know. Every time it every time it got away from trying to copy Evil Dead, it felt generic to me. Like when it was copying Evil Dead and doing like things that are known, I thought it was pretty on point, but every time it stepped out of that kind of realm, it became, I don't know, man. It just became a little generic for me, and I really didn't like the setting being so confined to the apartment. I thought the gore was great. I mean, the gore is, the last movie, it was literally raining blood, so they had to step it up somehow. I thought that the final monster thing is it's a little cheap, no?
It was off for me. It was really off. It was cool to see a new book. It really was cool to see a new book.
We're happy to have you, Rusty.
It was cool to see that monster, but I was like, in my head, I was like, this looks awesome. I don't know if this fits like an Evil Dead movie. Like, I don't think there's like a Lovecraftian. He was a cool monster, but you've never seen a Deadite do that. It's just it was kind of out of left field. Well, I don't want to say it looks terrible. It looked fucking cool.
Well, if you're gonna go with the like whole thing of this book can rise from the dead, zombie-ish, right? Why wouldn't you have had it rather than having that big ass fucking monster thing? Why wouldn't you have it where she thinks like the mother's standing there and then you hear the elevator ding behind her again, and behind her comes flooding the other people that were in the apartment. Even if it's only 5 or 10 more, like you still are exploring that concept more than like she, the whole idea of like her just pulling together a bunch of fucking dead people and creating that monster, I did not like at all.
That was just actually the 2 kids. That wasn't nobody else because you saw the arms, and that's when the kids were digging into her body.
What was the mother too?
It was just the 3 of them.
Was it only 3?
Yeah.
Makes it even worse.
It was the son and daughter and her.
Yeah, it was
but I
really
think
weird.
if you got rid of the book scene, and this just became like a spur of the moment demonic possession movie, I think it stands alone as a good movie. But I do think, even though I really like this movie, it has trouble trying to be unique but still tie itself to Evil Dead.
Well, yeah, and it's almost like everything that wasn't Evil Dead wasn't unique either. Like you're right though. Without the book, it would have been a good horror movie where people would have been going, man, some of those shots reminded me of Evil Dead, like that chase camera. And instead you get a movie where it's like, man, there's only a couple of shots that remind me of Evil Dead. Rusty keeps talking about that cheese grater. Why do you keep going on about the cheese grater?
I didn't like that scene.
Lewis didn't like it. I thought it was the smallest. Like if you look at your phone for 2 seconds, you miss it.
Yeah, it wasn't a gory scene, but I've
you,
almost
Rusty.
nicked myself on a cheese grater, so it just I had Vietnam
cheese graters
flashbacks.
and mandolins are nasty.
Oh,
Yeah.
mandolins will fuck you up.
Mandolins terrify me. We have one.
Well, do you guys anybody watching that Clarkson's Farm show?
No.
No.
So there's
I
a
need
moment
to.
where he's trying to start a restaurant and he's making fries and he's like, "Look how sharp this is." He's like, "You get a oh fuck," and he cuts himself and nearly takes the tip of his one finger off. Mandolins are fucking terrifying.
What's that though with the little razor wire thing that you?
No, that's the one where it's like a surface with a blade and you just
Yeah.
Oh,
a blade in your.
shit.
yeah
Okay.
yeah
What
no.
World
I
War
have two
One
of those, I
item are
gotcha.
you talking about?
Yeah, Alex is over
Razor?
here
no.
like, no, you
No,
tie it to a
there's-
string and then you use
there's
the
a-
momentum of Earth's gravitational pull.
There's a cheese cutter that has a like a piano wire,
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
for like the big
wire.
blocks of
Oh.
cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
and you run
When
it
I worked at
down.
Chipotle, we had to use those, and I was sitting there like, I'm in fucking Chipotle. This is corporate. Give me a fucking knife. Like, you just give me this big block of fucking mozzarella. Like, fuck you. I used to hate using the cheese wire. Fuck Chipotle, by the way.
Shitpotle.
We actually had those post-surgery. Jen had a taste for it, and I was like, I guess it wasn't bad, but like, trying to find shit that's zero carbs, man, or low carbs is,
You're gonna be eating water.
yeah,
Here for the
sucking
the
on
new
Crystal
viewer-
Light packets.
for the new viewer in chat, Rusty. Here's the official Nerditude mug.
I don't even know where
I'm just
my
glad
mug
you
is.
understand because I hate when people are diagnosed with diabetes and they're like, I gotta cut my sugar. No, you gotta cut your carbs.
Yeah,
Like,
cut them
that's
both.
what
Like,
you
well, it
gotta
depends. It depends on how bad you are, right? Like, if you're just like if you're diabetic to the point where they're like, we're just gonna give you this pill, take it once a day and diet. Generally, people don't take that seriously. Like, oh fuck it, I got a pill, I can eat whatever I want still. And it's like you really got to pay attention to carbs and sugar because they're hand in hand. The only difference between sugars and carbs is carbs have to break down in your system before they become sugars.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, like I said, it astonishes me how these medical people talk to you when you do what you're supposed to fucking do. I go in there and they're like, your sugars are great. Your scars are beautiful. You're healing well. And then like I talk to my nurse and she's like, nah, people don't listen. And I imagine there's some fat fuck that gets told he's diabetic and he's going to lose a foot. And he's like, fuck it, I got insulin. Let me go eat this sleeve of Oreos.
No, he's probably thinking I could lose a toe first before I lose
Yeah,
a foot.
man, just a toe, pinky toe.
Start
Fuck
with
it.
the toe and we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm a fat guy, but I can touch my toes. I don't think a lot of people can.
But he does it backwards.
Yeah, I just, my whole spine. That would be more Evil Dead like
You
than
turned
the
you
final
turned into
monster.
Volo from fucking
disturbing.
Soul Calibur.
That's my trick I'm gonna try to learn for the stream to touch my toes backwards. I'm gonna do some of that DDP yoga. I saw
You know, 4 years ago, I was still able to do a back bend, and I can't do that shit now.
DDP yoga.
Yeah.
You ever see that video of that dude that had like a cane and couldn't walk, and then
Yeah.
6 months on DDP yoga, he's
He
no
was a
longer a fat
paratrooper.
fuck.
He was a
and-
paratrooper and shot his legs. Yeah.
I saw a video where it's like Diamond
He
Dallas
shot his
Page.
own legs.
No. Like his legs got shot.
Oh, I was gonna
from
say,
being
what a
paratrooper-
failure of a
from being a
paratrooper.
paratrooper.
No, I was landing and my gun went off right into my legs. My itty bitty legs are just flopping now. He's just in the air with some
You got
floppy legs. Just my legs ain't moving right, boss.
That guy went from using crutches to fucking looking better than me, and he's fucking about the same age.
Well, there's a video where it's like
Shit,
Diamond Dallas Page is 67 and he's in incredible shape. And it's like, yeah, but he entered his career at 40.
But his skin is also made of leather now.
Well, yeah,
So
he
it's
had
very nice
he
and
had,
taut.
he had skin
It's
cancer.
very taut.
I remember him being on
showed,
WWE and he was like
It reminds me
wrestling
of
and
what's
he
her
had like
face? Moisturize me,
Yeah.
moisturize me.
Moisturize, please.
Evil Dead Rise, half a hot dog, no mustard. So you don't get a choice of condiments. These are always Chicago dogs, my friend. And you don't get to
Always
add
Chicago
anything
dogs.
either.
Oh, Christmas is the worst dogs though.
Yeah, I can't wait till this. I'm
Oh,
gonna be
God.
I'm gonna be like thinking ahead of time of fucking Christmas dogs.
When I think of Matt's Christmas dog creations, I think of the Great British Bake Off where they're describing stuff and you see the illustration. Like I want those
What you see at the
illustrations
end?
for Matt's shitty fucking hot dogs.
I saw a video where they were making fun
Today,
of
Matt is making a Christmas dog.
oh, so wait a second. You're doing Eggnog sauce. Eggnog and sardine sauce. Okay. Yeah, no, yeah, they're gonna be. I'm gonna think of them. I'm gonna have a low carb option too. for
Start writing that shit down
for
now.
the sensitive people in the thing. I don't know, man. Watching this movie does make me feel like just. I don't know. Part of me is like remake it, remake the original in modern day technology. Like I know it'll be a new cast and everything, but let me see what you can do with the original story.
I was off today, thank God. And I was able to watch all 3 movies. I watched Evil Dead Rise last. And I was like, "You know what? Let me go back and watch the original Evil Dead, the new Evil Dead, and Army of Darkness." And after watching those, it's gonna affect my score for this one.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this. I am a you can skip number 1 guy. Am I the only one?
I'm a number 1 guy over number 2.
Really?
I like them both, but I don't ever skip number 1.
Well, I say that in the matter of like number 2 is really the same thing as number 1 expanded. Like it's the same story, and then it goes further. And I don't know, like I like number 1. Number 1's also there is a certain charm with its low budgetery. I think that's what makes that movie more scary is how low budget it was.
Yeah,
I
Rusty's
do
a
like
number 1 over number 2.
Number 1. Number 1's very sentimental to me because I had a VHS tape in high school of number 1, and I watched it till it broke. But I think two is a nicer, more well put together film. Usually,
More
like,
complete,
yeah. Whenever I do the I'm gonna watch.
Put that cookie down.
In a month or two, I always start with the first one. Then I'll watch Army of Darkness, and then I'll come back to Evil Dead 2.
So the first one's like guerrilla footage, like they have no permits, they're just gonna film, hurry up and get in and get out. Like that's what it was to me, like how the first one was.
But again,
that's how Terminator 1 was shot too.
It says that's that low budgetness to it, and I think you're right. That does make that movie.
I like number 2 because it is more like if you watch number 1, and then number 2 also does directly lead into Army of Darkness as well. Like there is like he doesn't cut his arm off in the first one either, does he?
No.
Like there's just so much more in number 2.
No, the first one's like really gritty, not as toned up, not as.
It's more focused on
humor.
in the cabin and like the horrors of in the cabin instead of the like the gore factor and everything.
It's like shot from the Lloyd Kaufman school of horror movies, but without the trauma, without the trauma stuff,
without the car crash scene.
Yeah.
I too like Scream. Evil Dead. It's not a franchise that's gonna make a bunch of money because, like,
did this one? How did
even
this
in the
one
horror
do?
community, it did well. It did over 100 million. But like, these could be considered gore porn movies, and those movies don't make money. And if they do, they don't keep going. I would like to see one more Evil Dead movie, but Sam Raimi has to come back.
I was gonna say, if you see what Sam Raimi does, like in the modern, and I'll just go his modern horror movie of Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah,
like even if he had that technology to do the next, like, dude, fuck it, remake your own story. Like, stop expanding. Give me an Evil Dead movie that is as serious as Evil Dead Rise. Like, if you want, cut the comedy out of it and remake it. But like, Sam Raimi needs to get back in on it. Drag Me to Hell was one of those few. Well, Drag Me to Hell was one of those few movies that scared the shit out of me in theaters because it was so loud. Like I think Raimi, his production company must have had like an agreement with theaters, like where they're like, turn it up to 11. No.
Nolan was like, hey man, I got this solid advice.
But yeah, if Nolan would have directed Drag Me to Hell, the demon would have been floating in the air screaming, and you would have heard the sink that's leaking. Yeah. Like I'm hearing dripping. Is it just me?
That was the one time where Nolan's advice came in handy with the fucking fly sounds.
yeah, exactly. The demons.
The only time it worked.
The demon would be eating an entire child, but in the background you're just hearing flies buzz. Like, what the fuck?
I'm really
Oppenheimer. The only I don't have a problem with the movie. I do have a problem with Cillian Murphy because I've seen this quote of his 7,000 fucking times where he's like, I've always been in Nolan's movies, but to be asked to be the lead. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, shut up, fucking scarecrow. Shut up. Like, I don't want to hear about you inflating your fucking, like, this fake, like, it's almost like fake humbleness. Like, to be asked to be in the lead of Nolan's movies means you won't hear any of my fucking dialogue.
So Cillian Murphy is the dude from 28 Days, correct?
Yeah.
Is he? Did he survive? I can't remember. Did he survive?
They don't ever tell
28
you. He
Days?
survives at the end of the movie, but the second movie starts with a completely different crew.
So if they do
It
they are doing
depends
a
on if
third one.
you are watching the alternate ending or not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He does die in the alternate.
So they're trying to make a third one, and isn't he like slated to be on there, like according to IMDb?
They
What
should
is it
do.
going to be 28 years?
They should do 28 months and
28
everything's back to
28
normal.
days. 20 weeks,
I think
28
28 months.
Can you imagine
Everything's back to normal.
how boring that movie would be, but how great it would be? Where it's like 28 months later, and it's just like society's gone back. They've killed all the zombies. It's like, oh, whatever. That sucked for a while. Let's go to the grocery store.
To this day, that is the movie I've seen the most times in theaters. I think I watched it. I think I saw it in theaters 4 or 5 times.
Well, there's that scene
wow.
where he's looking up and the blood drips into his eye, and he's like, ah, and he
Yeah.
starts freaking out. That's how I feel every time something gets in my eye in general.
That's
Like
Mad Eye Moody,
anytime
right?
I've got anytime I get something in my eye, I just start turning into him, like motherfucker. And I'm like trying to get it out.
The
like,
funny thing is, I was thinking of that movie the other day, and I was like, man, it's an old movie. I wonder if that's why it looks like shit now. No, it looked like shit back then too.
Yeah, no,
the way
he-
it was filmed.
the way he filmed it, it was on the early DV cameras, like before Bourne did handheld like that. 28 Days Later, they're around the same time. But that
'Cause
was
now
also why
it
28
looks like
weeks later.
shit.
Well, 28 weeks later's flavor isn't the same because it's not filmed the same though.
No, it's not.
It's
Although
different.
I do like it. I do like the second one.
So, do you like Shaun of the Dead?
I do.
I do.
I feel like horror
Do like
purists
Shaun of the
don't
Dead.
like that movie.
I was pissed that they were breaking all those vinyls the way they did. I hope they were like shitty vinyls.
It's all British music. Fuck them.
Shaun of the Dead when I was younger made me really question if dogs can look up. They can.
They can. They can look behind them too.
Yeah.
They don't have bones like we do, I guess. I don't know. My dog, every now and then, I'll just be like, hey, what's up? And he'll just fucking flip his head backwards. What's going on? All right, cool. Fucking weirdo. I'm trying to think because, I know it sounds like I'm being really hard on this movie, but I truly did enjoy the cinematography of it. I enjoyed the story overall. It's just at a certain point, cut the Evil Dead out of it because either go back to Evil Dead for what Evil Dead is, or make a different movie. Because it's like at this point we've grown the spectrum of what we're supposed to expect in an Evil Dead movie. Like as soon as zombies appeared, I was like, what the fuck?
The blatant reminders too, like when you're watching the movie, the book the first time, he's playing the record, the spell kicks off, right?
By the way, the
And
only
then
reason the
throughout
kid's
the
a
movie-
DJ is so he can play a fucking record because no kid has a record player nowadays.
The throughout
Why
the
fuck
movie,
would you keep
Vinyl's
playing it, first of
cool.
all?
whenever something happens to where the demon is progressing in a way, they go back to the book flipping through pages. As like, here we are again. It's like, stop doing that. Like, okay. Like it's an Evil Dead movie. I get it.
Well, let me ask you: is your first thought, if let's say you're in the situation and this goofy possessed bitch is trying to kill you? I'm not thinking I need to go flip through this demon book. I'm getting whatever is sharp and I'm gonna behead this bitch, and we'll go from there. Like, the one kill I really did like in this movie was the daughter when she takes the pole right through the fucking chin,
Oh yeah.
but then
Oh,
she gets back up.
Stephanie.
Yeah,
Stephanie.
that and
I did like the name of that thing.
Rusty, one of the things Rusty said is he did not, and I'm going to have to disagree with Rusty on this one. He said the movie was too woke for him. And
What?
Stephanie.
the only wokeness I can really picture is the daughter was talking about going to a protest. I think that was the only thing that,
Did they say what kind of protest?
I think a
I
protest.
don't know.
Even
She wasn't going
Okay,
she
even-
wasn't going to a 2A rally. Tell you that much.
even if they didn't say what kind of protest, that is the only mention of it.
Yeah, I
Like-
didn't fully understand the too much woke because I don't think it appeared
Yeah.
really at all
I-
beyond that.
I fucking hate that word. I think it's lost all meaning. It's just a placeholder
Woke.
for
Yeah.
what
Well,
people want to
I'm
say.
totally woke, guys.
But here's the
It's-
thing:
It's a placeholder for what people don't like. That's what it is.
if you don't like those people's personas, they fucking died
Horribly.
and died in some cool ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Well, that's what
I
the whole
do
time
think-
I was like, go to a protest now, you bitch. That's what I was saying when
Going-
she got it.
When we rate this though, I honestly think like I can give it 1 rating, but if you cut some scenes and change the name, I think the rating would actually go up
Go up.
because it would
Yeah.
make it's still a unique horror movie.
If you
If
remove
you
Evil
take
Dead
the
from it,
book out, you take all the book scenes out, he still goes underground, he still finds a chamber, he still finds a room with the crosses, but it's just an entity.
Yep.
He let it out.
yep.
You're
Yeah.
good. It's a different movie.
And
here's
but
one
that's
thing.
that's part of the problem though is they made a movie and they were like, oh, by the way, it's evil. It almost feels like, and I don't think, I mean, it's the same director as The Evil Dead, so it's clearly not the case, but it almost can feel like they were making a movie and they were like, you want to make this an Evil Dead movie? And he was like, sure, let me add a couple scenes.
Yeah.
Answer this question. Out of the 4 of us, if you lived in that building and you had that fucking parking garage structure and something happened and there's a hole in the ground, would you go into it?
No.
I wouldn't.
No.
I don't think I'd even fit in
dude,
that hole, to
I'm-
be honest with you.
And
I
I'm from
go
a, I'm,
away from the danger.
Yeah.
I'm from an age where my parents didn't want me back home until it was fucking dark out, you know. And
As the kids say nowadays, fuck around and find out. I usually don't find out.
No. No.
God.
You know what it
I
is?
would
Is
not
when
have
I'm
done
6
that.
miles down the road, I'm going, I wonder what was in that hole.
Yeah. And then the title, like the end, and the credits start rolling.
hey,
That-
let's go find what's his name. We could send him down the hole.
The most boring ending in the world where she's like, nah, fuck that, and she drives away, and then she's at coffee the next day, and she's like, there was this hole in the ground, and it's like, oh, all right, cool. Yeah, no,
I
and then
wanna
I
hear that
didn't
shit.
like how it started with them in the woods lake area either.
The cabin area.
Like I liked it, but then when you realize it's literally nothing but a device to connect to the, I was like, ah, like what is that chick doing in that apartment building?
Mhm.
Your follow up to your 2 indie films you've made so far needs to be a horror movie that starts and ends because the character decides he's not going to deal with the problem.
Every like literally, it's like a dark alley, and he starts to go walk to it, and he's like, ah, fuck that, I'm hungry, and every
do
scene
it-
just nothing happens.
Do it like her, where you have the long intro of like the drive and all that. Then there's a problem, and then he's like, no, and then credits. Like,
Must be something wrong. You just hear the car start end. Yeah, I mean, like, you didn't hear any of this going on. Like, you're in this apartment building with not that many tenants. You didn't hear the elevator hit the ground
Yeah.
full of blood. Like,
The
Yeah, she's like,
building's
the
about to be- the
thunder.
building's about to
the
be
thunder
demolished in a
was
month.
loud. That's what she blamed it on when she was talking on the phone. It's like, oh, the thunderstorm last night was. It's like, nah,
they should have just gone
a
full.
fucking shotgun that went off in the goddamn
right?
hallway.
Several times. Like,
Come on.
they should have just gone full Ghostbusters, and instead, at the end, like, let her defeat the main monster, but a signal gets shot through that tower, and fucking it starts the onslaught of the Army of Darkness.
You know what the best part was? Do you remember the scene where the kid looks down the stairs? He's like, the stairs are gone. And then she gets up, locks her door, and takes the stairs to the parking lot.
Yeah.
But she had to be lower than that. I'm assuming.
Do you think she was
Yeah.
a level
You know
lower?
how
was a
you know
lot
how many
lower, yeah.
levels lower she had to have been them to hear nothing but thunder.
Because they
Yeah,
were
Like
at
she had to be
they
like
were
floor
level-
2.
They were like at
That-
14 or something.
They were
right?
at 14, yeah.
The broken stair scene was a slap in the face as a movie viewer because you're like, Evil Dead Rise, and you see the broken stairs, and it's like, no, Evil Dead floor. That's all you're getting.
Yeah, it was. I thought the stairs thing was a really shitty device to keep them in that floor.
Yeah.
It was like something you would see on ER back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like-
Listen, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, fuck, it's confined to the floor. And I
Which
was like, oh,
yeah.
fuck.
Which would have been different, like if you're gonna, like, once again, if you're gonna do Evil Dead, right, do it right. Like, don't make another movie and then be like, by the way, it's Evil Dead, there's a book, she's possessed and she talks shit to them, and we have a chase cam. Those 3 things are essentially the only things that Evil Dead in this movie.
Hmm.
And I agree with Lewis, if this was just a regular horror, if this was just called whatever and it had nothing to do with Evil Dead, I'd be giving it a higher score today. because I really did
When-
like the cinematography.
When she started getting strapped up inside the elevator, I was like, oh shit, they're gonna fucking do that scene where they're gonna. I was like,
Oh
I
yeah,
hope
no,
not.
I'm glad she didn't get tree raped.
Yeah, I thought they
I
were
don't
gonna
need
get
another
away
one of
from-
those
from the
scenes.
elevator. I was
But
like,
I thought
That was,
I thought that elevator scene was pretty cool though.
yeah,
It was. What movie was that?
Evil Dead 1.
the first one, yeah.
And
That has
doesn't
the rape scene.
the Evil Dead do something like that too?
I think so. As soon as we saw
Yeah.
that scene, Shay asked me, she's like, I'm not gonna have to watch this, am I? And I'm like, I don't think they're
Yeah.
doing that.
Which I'm all
But
for
that's
horror movies removing the sexual brutality completely.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of sexual brutality in movies. I don't like the one of the biggest reasons I'm not a big fan of old school 70s, early 80s horror movies is because every single one of those fucking movies has a rape scene.
Yeah.
Like Hills Have Eyes, Dig Two Graves, or I Spit on Your Grave. There's a bunch of them that all have a fucked up rape scene. And it's like
There's a whole movie where there's an entity dedicated to raping a woman. Like there's a whole movie about it's an 80s movie.
and like
Didn't
that's
they
sort
also
of
do it like in the Invisible Man, like one of the originals?
Oh yeah, the
like I don't understand what the infatuation with that was because like don't get me wrong, I like gore, but I don't enjoy sitting there watching some woman, even if it's in a movie, get raped for entertainment. Like I just even in the Hollow Man, it's kind of like
that's a weird
That's
scene.
kind of like what
Yeah,
the
that's
fuck.
one.
Like those
Yeah.
scenes, I would be a-okay if horror movies just as a collective were like, you know what, we really don't need these scenes in these movies. We can do plenty without them. And I mean, look what they did to the characters in this movie without it. You don't need it when you're fucking putting poles through people's heads, and I mean, it's like it was
But
rough enough.
Do you think that was like a thing to like let the original people that watched the movie, like the people who watched the original,
Yeah, it was an homage.
they were
to
like,
the,
oh shit, and they were like, whoa, and then it didn't happen. You're like, oh, okay,
well,
because
it's the same concept as the originals
I
of
was-
like it chased her, it caught up to her, and now it possessed her, just without the weird,
Because I was
Mhm.
watching this with my wife, and then when that happened, I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
and I was
Get
almost to the
ready
point where
for
I
a
was gonna pause it.
surprise.
I was getting ready to pause it and be like, you know what? Why don't you go get something to drink or something? And then I was gonna, continue, but I just let it play, and it didn't happen. I was like, okay, good. I was so much happier that like I was just like relieved.
Yeah, and you don't see it a ton anymore. I mean, even your modern day horror movie really doesn't have much nudity in it. Like the idea of like,
yeah, no.
oh, these two are fucking in a room and a slasher's going in the house doesn't exist anymore, which I'm okay with. Like I think horror movies, and to their credit, I think they have gotten smarter, but they need to get smarter. Like there needs to be, if you want an effective horror movie, there needs to be a certain level of intelligence. Like there's still movies made that don't have, but even Terrifier 2, Terrifier 1, that's horror movie intelligence. When you have a character that speaks volumes without saying a fucking word in a 2.5 hour long movie, and it is that brutal, like even in number 1 when he splits her down the center, like that was pure brutality gore. It wasn't like he was sticking things in her or anything. It was just, you're my next victim in a brutal way.
And he
Those
did
are
it
my
with a
favorite
smile.
kills though, when they split human beings. Fucking amazing. And it's not CG. Love it.
As CG
God, I
gets
just
better, like,
watched the scene from Bone Tomahawk the other day.
oh
That was-
god, that fucking movie. Bone Tomahawk is a weird movie because you do get the funniness of Kurt Russell screaming a little bit in it too, like he did from the Tarantino movie Death Proof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His scream is funny.
I remember when I first watched that movie, I didn't know what it was, and I was like, whatever, I'm bored. And halfway through, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
Like, there's another movie like that called The Proposition, and it's an Australian movie starring Guy Pearce. And basically, Guy Pearce gets sent to go hunt and kill his brother, who's a criminal. And if he doesn't, they're going to kill his younger brother. And he's just walking through a canyon in the southwest, and like a fucking spear shoots right in him and pins him to the ground. And he's like looking at it and then blacks out from the fucking pain or whatever. And then it goes to where the natives have captured him. But like, there's just weird shit like that. That is, if it's a little slow, but if you want to watch a decent Australian drama, as weird as it is to say, Proposition's pretty good. It's like set in the Old West, essentially. Australian Old West, which Am I the only? Am I ignorant for being like, wait a second, the Australians had an Old West? Like, I don't know. I feel like the Wild West was an American thing. All right, I think we got to get to the brass tacks on this one, unless anybody has anything else to say about Evil Dead Rise.
Good movie. It's a good movie. Could have. I don't know. I really think they should have just dropped the Evil Dead. I think it would have been a good movie on Sony.
Like I like the nods, but it would have been a more effective if it was a different movie that's like, oh, that reminded me of Evil Dead. You know, like, oh, that the chase cameras, you know, I probably at the time would have been like, they're ripping off Evil Dead, but they effectively used the chase camera. I just feel they didn't effectively use the other assets of Evil Dead enough to identify this movie as an Evil Dead. And unfortunately, because it doesn't do enough to identify as Evil Dead for me, it comes off being a bit generic because what's its identity? You know, and like, that was one of my big problems with it. I enjoyed the movie. I'll be straight up, I'll go first. I'm going to give it a 3.5. If it were not tied to Evil Dead, it would be getting a 4. Easy.
That was mine as well. Same. Just for Matt on this one, we'll do hot dogs without the buns. No carbs.
No buns! Well, that's the
Zero
funny thing is,
carbs.
like, I'm not a bread guy,
nitrate.
so way before this shit went on, I don't eat hamburger buns, I don't eat hot dog. If I eat a hot dog bun, it's because I bought a hot dog from somewhere. But if I make hot dogs at home, I don't eat the bun.
So do you get the bun
Just
steamed
a
or?
psycho just
I
eating
just,
the fucking hot dog.
just fucking jamming them down my throat.
Matthew, he squeezes the condiments in his mouth 1st.
Mhm.
And then just
You
shoots them
ever
down.
watch the competitive hot dog? How they
Oh,
that's me now because
I don't get why they would soak the fucking bread in the water. It makes it expand. Like,
No,
ew.
you gotta remember, bread compresses. What they do is they soak it and then they kind of like squeeze it, and it becomes a smaller, more compact form. Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not a huge bread, like, carbs is not my problem. It was sugar was my fucking problem. Like, I literally, and this is how good I've been. I've got most of a 3-pound bag of Jelly Bellies. I haven't touched since I went into the hospital. I've got most, well, I had some before. Most of a box of honey buns that I bought, and I like, this is how stupid I am. I'm eating one a day going, oh, I'm being good. I'm just eating one a day. And the only reason I'm keeping them is if my blood sugar drops too low, the honey bun is both a sugar and a carb. And the Jelly Bellies are a straight sugar. So like if I start feeling hypoglycemic, I can throw a handful of Jelly Bellies and my sugar will come rapidly up.
You imagine Jen coming home and Matt's like, I'm hungry.
Ah!
Because
Pouring the bag.
I just checked my blood.
truly jelly bellies in his mouth.
I'm dunking the honey bun in water. Oh, like competitive eater style. Oh, I gotta get my sugars. Dude, if you ever watched, competitive eating is disgusting.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
so I
It
can't
is.
watch it.
Like, there's this guy
Makes
on
my stomach turn.
shout out to him. He's a YouTuber, Beard Meets Food. He's a former competitive eater, and he has a YouTube channel where he basically does that man vs. food show, where he travels through. He's based out of England, but he's been coming over
I
to
know
the
who you're
US a lot.
talking about.
Yeah, he does really good videos, and he does the challenges. But when he does it's a full English breakfast, and it's got 10 sausages, still he's and he's fucking choking them down, and it's like, you got 40 minutes, you're halfway done, and it's 5 minutes in. Like, you could take some time. What are you doing?
Yeah, but if you eat slower, you get full. So if
Yeah,
eats it
but
faster, he gets to finish it.
The fucking rapid pace, he's just 4 more sausages.
That's the thing. We've been trained as from a young age to eat fast, and we're still hungry. But if you eat slower, you get fuller and you won't finish your food.
It depends on what you're eating.
But then you have those parents that say, "Finish your food."
I will
And
say,
then you're like taking that breath every time you.
I've been testing to see what fucks with my sugar and what doesn't. Fortunately, Chinese
good
food.
stuff you like?
Chinese food, as we all know, is my favorite. But between the sweet and sour chicken I ordered and the rice, now my blood sugar still stayed relatively not bad, but I've been hovering around 115 to 130, depending on the time of the day, and it shot all the way up to 160. after that meal, and I was like, "Oof, okay, I understand." I did the
They-
Sammy Sosa to the Lord. And I was like, all right.
They usually put like a cup of like a third cup of sugar in their shit when they're making it. So
Yeah, everything that's got a
gotta
sauce
watch
in Chinese food is full of sugar,
Yep.
Yeah.
It's sugar
Yeah.
and sodium.
and MSG.
which is
Well,
terrible
the
because I
old places.
fucking love Chinese food. Like it is my probably like Jen's is Mexican, and don't get me wrong, tacos are my new friend. But like I love tacos anyways. There's this place
That's
by
my
us.
wife too. She loves Chinese food.
Dude, there's this place by us that you can order 20 tray of tacos. They literally just get it's double corn tortilla. They give you these little styrofoam cups of onion, cilantro, and the different sauces, and you deck your own out. And I love them. But like Jen's is Mexican. Any day of the week, if you ask her like, "What do you want for and it's just her," it's always Mexican. Like if we eat something separate, like we used to do it to where she used to get Chipotle. And I fucking hated Chipotle because I worked there. I only worked there for 3 months, and I ate it so much I can barely tolerate it now at this point. And I would go get Chinese, but now I got to reconfigure everything because it's like we were already not eating Chinese often. We're definitely not going to be eating it often now. I love it. Also, Olive Garden. I don't give a fuck. I like Olive Garden. I'm not looking for Authenticano. I just want a good goddamn chicken parmesan fried right. But it's all carbs.
Italian food for me is
Italian's good.
like
man.
I love pasta. Pasta is my
Pasta's
weakness.
pasta's a carb that's probably the carb besides
That's
pizza.
dangerous.
Pizza and pasta are the carb where it's like on the whole I don't eat much rice anyways, but like I could throw down some pasta
I love pizza and Vienna hot dogs.
together.
Together?
No.
Oh,
Those are the
Well,
two.
Vienna hot dogs
Those are
ain't
the two.
bad for you. That's all beef. That's no carbs or nothing. I actually found it. You know the like little Vienna sausages they sell?
Yeah.
I bought a thing of them because there's no carbs, no sugar in them. I'm like, fuck it. If I, and then the one day my sugar was low and I was like, I'm hungry. I'm going to go make some eggs. Threw a bunch of cheese in there. A couple hours later, test my blood sugar. It's lower than what it was before. Eggs and cheese have no bearing on your fucking blood sugar. There's no carbs. And I was like, that's why everybody in keto smell like rotten eggs because all they do is eat eggs and fucking cheese all day. Because they got to stay in ketosis so you can't even look at a goddamn carb.
My mother-in-law's
make some
Filipino.
quiches.
My mother-in-law's Filipino, and she can't eat rice, and she loves rice.
I would
She has to
imagine
cut. She has to cut it down a lot.
I'd imagine diabetics that are like Asian centric are probably really hard for them to
Yeah,
come
'cause
to
they
terms.
love rice, and
But the truth is, if you're like an Asian person, I mean, in America it's probably harder because you're eating American garbage. But like, if you're diabetic in the Philippines and it's not type
Rice
1,
with everything.
no, it's very common in the Philippines. to
well, that's
be diabetic.
because the amount of fuck, that's
Yeah.
gotta suck. I mean, what do you even replace rice with?
They still live to be 100, but
Less
they're
rice.
diabetic.
Yeah,
If you diabetic, you eat less rice.
that reminds me of what is it? Analyze
More
analyze
fish.
this, where he's like, "What's a low calorie sandwich?" And he's like, "A half a sandwich." I mean, that's the truth. And the problem with like American Chinese takeout is like you get a little bit of protein and the rest is fucking rice. So
Yeah.
it's, and I love fried rice. It's I feel bad for your person who's got to cut their rice back because I went from eating Chinese like once a month to now it's going to be I don't know, once every couple or 3 months. It sucks. I love it. It's but just kill myself. I don't know. Just fucking end it. Alex is like, do it. What the fuck was that?
No, I was gonna say I'm gonna go next, but
Go
it came
next.
at the wrong time.
Yeah, was it? I'm over here like I'm gonna kill myself. He's like, yeah,
I'm gonna go next.
you got it. Do
Before
it.
you said as I was going like this, you said I'm gonna kill myself. I was like,
It was too late. He's like, I've already committed. Kill yourself.
follow through.
KYS baby. Alex just starts typing KYS in the chat. What a dick.
Everyone's spamming in the chat.
This guy is spamming hard. He fucking uploads a sound to the Discord soundboard. Kill yourself. Kill yours. It's just the text to chat.
Oh yeah!
I uploaded a bunch of Arnold fucking. That's the only like.
Who is your daddy?
It's the only thing
and what does he do?
I've worked on very little since getting out of the hospital because I mean
The soundboard.
Oh, I couldn't lift my arm initially when I got home high enough, the like 4 inches it is to get to the top of my desk to control my mouse. So
yeah.
my computer was shut down for well over a month. didn't even sit over here. And finally, my arm, I was able to lift it enough, and the swelling came down enough. So I did our new starting, and I'm slowly starting to. I'm trying to work on something for the game streaming, which it looks like first week of June. Not next week, but the week after, I'll be starting up again. So that should be fun. Hopefully.
You heard it here first. He will be playing through Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Yes.
All right.
I'll be playing through the
Beginning to
demo
end.
and then deleting it immediately. No, I see. I don't know what to play first. I'm thinking it's going to be Resident Evil 4, though. That's my. There's just so much shit that came out, though. Did you guys see that new EA first-person shooter that it's like looks like Morrowind almost?
Mhm.
Check it out. It's called Immortals, I think. It's a first-person shooter where you're basically a mage and you're dealing in
Oh
magic
yeah,
and shit.
yeah, yeah. They showed more of it at the
PSN
conference.
showcase.
Yeah.
That looks pretty fucking. And I've got EA Play
What's-
Pro, so I'm just waiting for it to release at this point.
What's the one of Halo creators and somebody else that they're coming out with? It's supposed
Oh,
to be
that's
new
that
FPS.
Bungie. It's an old franchise they're bringing back. Why does everything have to be a multiplayer shooter? Why has the days of the single-player shooter died?
They're non-existent.
Like, I'm
Thing of
so
the
tired of
past.
everything being a fucking multiplayer game. That's why Evil West is so refreshing. There's no fucking multiplayer. You go from point A to point B slaughtering creatures, you go home happy. It's a linear fucking single player adventure, and I miss those so bad. Like I go on abandonware.net and I download games that you can't buy anymore, like old James Bond games, because I'm craving just single player adventures. I guess Cyberpunk, but I've already beaten Cyberpunk is the problem. And everything is open world, except apparently that new Assassin's Creed game. People are shitting on that because it's supposed to be like a throwback to the old school ones. People are not happy about that. I wouldn't mind it. I don't know. My favorite Assassin's Creed is still Assassin's Creed 3.
Which one was that one?
The one where colonial America, where you play the Native American, and you're
I
going
like
against
Black Flag.
Black Flag is awesome. I haven't. It's been a few years, but I never beat it when it was out, and then I played it on PC and played through it and loved it. Unlike
I set my controller down when my youngest daughter was born, and she picked up the controller and she went and assassinated her first fucking person. And I was like, yeah. I was
That's
like,
where
give
it
me
all
that controller back.
began.
Yeah, for real.
Alex, how many of the hot dogs?
Okay, so
beautiful.
for me, with this being an Evil Dead movie, it is a 3. If it wasn't, it would be like a 4 for me as well. I did like a lot of the stuff. Like I said, I did really like the peephole scenes
Yeah.
versus the other stuff.
My favorite's the
I didn't-
hallway with that elevator shot. Like that shot's been stuck in my head since I watched it.
I didn't like how it began, where it was like trying to make it seem like it was going back to the woods, but then it went back to the city. It threw me off for a second, and then when it finally ended, I was like, what the fuck? Was this supposed to be like where the book's supposed to be found later there, and that's how the other girl, and I like it just threw me for
Well,
a second.
Now that you said that, I was thinking what would have helped it is like if they would have gone back to the woods, and then in the woods you saw kind of the army building, almost
Yeah.
like every
Or something different that would've-
every person the entity kills is starting to build this army of darkness on Earth.
Yeah, because they said there's 3 books, which I got that from when they were talking about it. And then when they were talking about the whole inching of, every inch of a body or whatever, and then you see at the end it's the finger that fucking possesses her. It was kind of stupid for that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it wasn't Evil Dead, it would have been a 4, because it was pretty cool.
So what is it with being? Evil
It's
Dead?
3, just a 3.
Okay. Giovanni.
I'm in the same boat as Alex, a 3 and a 4. Yeah, man, I just wish I feel like they're adding new stuff. And to Anthony's point, maybe because there are 2 other books and they didn't really express
Right.
what
Unless you
they're
weren't-
capable of, so
Yeah.
I get
Unless
that.
you weren't paying attention to what the record was saying, you didn't fucking hear that shit.
Yeah, like you didn't notice it. And I imagine if they do another one, it's gonna be the last book.
Yeah, I mean, but
But
yeah.
then, like, how do you bring them all together? Like, how do you like?
That's gonna be the time
There's
portal one.
yeah, there's so many.
I mean, what you
The
need
last
to
book's gonna be
do
the time portal.
is you need to bring Bruce Campbell back for that one. Where like
You're
even if
saying
he's
same.
not the main character, you have him come in midway as like I I just got here. What the hell's going on? Type thing of like he's still
Mm-hmm.
wise-assed, but I mean, I thought the Ash vs. Evil Dead show was amazing.
Well, maybe
Oh,
it'll
it's
be
so
him
good.
coming from Ash vs. Evil Dead, and they finish it in the last one.
Well, that's the whole thing is like the show ended on a climax, but fucking Ash vs. Evil Dead was essentially a road trip of fucking Ash going wild on the Deadites. So it's like,
Yeah.
I didn't need Bruce Campbell in this one, but I feel like in order to bring the franchise back to the fold, you need a story that brings him in proper, and you need him back. Raimi, I want to see what Raimi can like. Raimi's a great director. I want to see him with the modern technology. Like, one thing you can't argue about Evil Dead Rise is it looks immaculate. It's a good-looking movie. It's clean CGI. It's well done. It's shot well. The angles are well done. Like, there's nothing negative I can say about the production of the movie. It's just the story I have a problem with and how far I'm supposed to allow Evil Dead to stretch in its spectrum and still accept it as an Evil Dead movie.
I did like how they tried to keep as much of it away from the face when they like injured them. Like, have you noticed when he got hit with the fucking the drone in the beginning? Or no, she got hit with the drone in the beginning, and it was just showing like a couple marks so she could still be able to be seen, and it wasn't bad. And the same thing with the mother, it wasn't like a lot of bad shit until like later on when they merged them. That's when it looked like
She
shit.
did a really good job of portraying.
ass log.
Yeah, she was. There's an actress in Walking Dead. Her name is literally Pollyanna McIntosh,
What the fuck?
and I make fun of the name every single time.
What is going
Every
on?
single fucking time.
Dumb name.
Every time I see it come up on their credits, I'm like Pollyanna McIntosh. Giovanni's 3-4, Alex 3-4, Lewis and I are both, I think, 3.5, 4. So we have to decide what we want to do for next episode, because we were doing the Kill Bills or the Tarantino movies. We do have Jackie Brown now. We have the Kill Bills we could do, but there's a lot of shit that's come out. I mean, we've got Cocaine Bear, John Wick
That
4.
movie's so good.
Is it? I haven't watched it yet.
I love it.
I haven't
I
seen it.
gotta watch it again because I kept falling asleep.
Well, there's a couple other movies out there that like have just been shadow released that are on the streaming network. So Shazam 2. So like there's a lot of shit that has come out.
Ant-Man.
So Ant-Man 2, although
that's another one I watched. I did enjoy it. But the CG was fucking garbage.
I don't know if I
Does
want
it
to
have scenes of Krang just punching women left? I'm tired. I'm sorry.
So what is going on with that? Is he officially out?
He's out. He's out. Yeah.
Also, I mean, the Marvel Universe, every time I think they're trying to, like, tighten it up, it's like, hey, by the way, Loki Season 2 is coming. It's like, for the love of God, stop.
Rusty, the fangirl for John Wick, is saying heart.
Hey, there's nothing negative I'm going to say about John Wick. I love those fucking movies. I can't wait to watch the fourth one.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I didn't get to see it in theaters because I was too busy writhing in pain from my surgery. So
dying.
A movie I did
when it came out, I
watch-
told Jen, I'm like, I'm buying it the weekend it comes out. And she was like, you bought John Wick, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, I did. She's like, all right, good. All right,
A movie I did watch and I wouldn't recommend watching unless you just wanted to watch it just to shoot the shit was The Pope's Exorcist.
Oh, how bad is it?
Oh.
He is so fat.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Yeah, I was actually supposed to
It's
see
like,
John Wick.
it's like they were trying to take.
It's getting a sequel.
It
It's
is,
like
yeah.
yeah, it is. Well, they're trying to do this like expanding world. So it's like they're trying to take the Da Vinci Code meets the Avengers movie with demons and church people. Like,
Ugh. I mean, it wouldn't be so bad. I don't know.
Rusty's
Like,
asking if it's really bad, Johnny. He's asking, is it really bad?
it's bad. Yeah, no, it's.
I mean,
it's bad.
is the problem like because the last time I saw Russell Crowe is he was just this fat sweltering dude in a pickup truck,
In a
angry
pickup
that
truck
some chick
being
cut him
angry?
off. So like, I haven't seen many of his movies in the fat sense lately. The last fat Russell Crowe movie I liked was The Nice Guys.
So, Unhinged, they made into a TV show on Netflix called Beef.
No, it's
with
different.
with what's his name from Walking Dead?
Yeah, Glenn.
That's a A24.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it, but I thought
For
that's
sure.
what it was too. But it's much more than that. I thought it was just like a road rage show too, and I was like, okay. And then like I started reading like reading more on it, and it's apparently a deeper show than that. But I just wanted to see Glenn bash somebody's head in, frankly.
Yeah.
Fuck it, do some more Walking Dead stuff. And yeah, well, so we're watching Walking Dead, and then like, man, I don't know. I have a problem with shows when they get a little goofy, especially when we binge watch them, where I get burnout.
Yeah.
And I'm worried that I'm very near the burnout of the show, and we've
Especially
only
for Evil Dead, man. Or not Evil Dead. I'm
well,
sorry.
we've only got a
Walking Dead.
season and a half left. Like we're midway through the 9th season, and there's only 11. And I'm gonna powerhouse through it. I'm gonna try my best, but like I am reaching that level of just like, come on. Like the whole season with Negan, where like every other episode the group is getting their fucking teeth kicked in. It's just like, I get it, but you gotta give me a little bit of fucking happiness for the guys we like. Like, it's too much. There's too much of, and like, can you imagine why I didn't? We watched up until season like 3 when it was on TV. I could not imagine watching Walking Dead, not binge watching it.
How long were the seasons? They were 16 or
episodes
24?
each. Yeah, the last
16?
season I think is like 20 something, but all the others
Yeah.
are 16.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Especially like when you're watching a series that's 24 episodes a season, and they're 45-minute long. It's like, holy shit, you know, like what
Fucking Burn Notice.
What are you doing? Burn Notice. I love that though.
And we also should pour some out for our homies. Metalocalypse been removed from MaxiPad. It's no longer part of H. No, a lot of
What?
Adult
No
Swim stuff's
longer
been
in
removed.
circulation.
Yeah.
That's why.
Don't worry, don't worry. Cartoon Network will have their own streaming service called Cartoon Network Plus. You can watch Rick and Morty all day.
It'll be called Cartoon Max.
Fucking. I went to go log into HBO Max just to see, and it's like, you need to download Max. So I did. Fortunately, it automatically logged me in,
Mine
which
too,
was
yeah.
pretty nice. Like, if I had to log back in again, it would have added a little bit of anger. Like, ah, fuck you. Made me log in again, you piece of shit.
Disney Plus also killed the series Willow before.
Now that is
Yeah, but I heard that was bad.
That is
I
a
know, but it was
series I
one
heard.
season.
I did hear
It
was
one
plagued by
season,
wokeness.
and
I don't know
they
what.
got rid of it. They're like, we're just gonna get rid of it from existence.
Oh my god.
Oh,
dude.
they
took it
removed
off.
it?
Yeah, they
Yeah, they
removed it
removed it.
completely.
Holy shit.
So if you never got to see it, oh well.
Well, see, that's where Lewis's issue comes into play, where it's like, why not release the season on physical?
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna dump it, release it on physical.
I own Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw, a couple other stuff that certain streaming service doesn't release digital or physical. I'm tired of movies dying on streaming services.
To
Like,
Netflix's
it's
credit, they're the only ones that will release their originals. Like I saw, there's a couple movies I saw on iTunes that were Netflix exclusives, and I was like, oh, okay. Those like The Man from Toronto. It's a Kevin Hart movie. I just happened to notice it was on for pre-order on Apple iTunes. So it's
Prime.
like the only ones that release anything is Netflix as far as their original shit.
Prime has been coming up with Netflix movies and Paramount Plus movies that where you could purchase for $19.99 or whatever.
Mm.
So got to check that out.
I
too,
do want to
but-
watch Shazam 2. I like the first one. I thought Black Adam was kind of dumb.
I started it the other day.
It's just a rock with superpowers. That's all it is, man.
tight,
Yeah.
tight
I
spandex.
have a feeling The Rock is losing his luster, though. Like, apparently there's litigation against him for something right now.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah.
which
Kidnapping for kidnapping.
is that
what's
what it
her
is?
name?
Fucking kidnapping?
Raka Khan. Yeah, Raka Khan.
Who the fuck
The girl
is
who
Raka
was
Khan?
with. So you remember when Scott Steiner did the
I
whole
know who
math
Shaka
thing?
Khan is.
Remember when he did the whole math thing?
Yeah, his
You have a 33 and a third president.
infamous.
So the girl that was
shoot.
with him, that's Raka Khan. So supposedly they kidnapped her and her child because they were a fear of her leaving the state or whatever, and The Rock was part of holding her back from leaving someplace.
Yeah, I Hollywood is losing their luster with old Rocky Boy. He's I mean, how much of The Rock do you need to see before people tire from him? Oh, by the way, spoiler alert, he's in Fast X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After all that
about
fucking
family.
all that internet drama and all of his bullshit, they said, "Hey bud, we got a nice big fat checkaroonie. All you got to be is a cameo in this one and we'll pay you so many millions."
He's family.
Yeah, well, apparently he's supposed to be making a live action Moana. The guy is so goddamn
Yeah.
obsessed with being fucking muscle and jacked. Like, that's where you got to give Batista credit. Like, The Rock's only identity is in his steroid use. Batista comes out and he's like, I don't want to be a big dumb, like, I want to be a character. I don't want to, like, even if I don't think he's a good actor, he at least wants to be the character, and he doesn't want to be the character based upon his physical features. Meanwhile, The Rock's only laurels rest on his physical features.
Yeah, like all his movies.
My wife did not like fucking Knock at the Cabin Door. She
You know, I didn't hate that movie. I
no,
thought I
but,
was
but
going to
she,
hate
she
it.
didn't like it because it was like too like it fucked with her. She's like, do you think people are really like that? And I'm like, don't start this.
You mean the people that are trying to stop the apocalypse? What?
Yeah.
What fucking people are we talking about?
Yeah.
What? No, I don't think people are out there
Oh.
trying to stop the apocalypse right now.
Oh God.
It's all those people in Florida that's trying to stop the apocalypse. Am I right, guys? Yeah.
Florida man.
Ugh. Whatever. I wish Florida man would
Isn't
make
he
a
running
comeback.
for president? Isn't he trying?
Apparently, yeah. That's going to be such a
2024?
If he
clusterfuck,
wins, we
bro.
will have a Florida man president.
I'm going to put it this way. He's going to go up against Trump. And the loyal Trump army is not going to vote him in over Trump. Trump is going to destroy his character. And what's going to end up happening is Florida is going to have a governor who's already doing weird shit right now, writing weird shit in the legislation. And he's going to lose he's not going to get the nomination for the Republican Party. He's going to come back with his hat in his hands and still have to deal with the Disney debacle. Still have to deal with more of the don't say gay bill. He's still going to have to deal with more of this illegal immigration bill. You know, the political spectrum right now for that sort of shit's all sorts of fucked up. It's going to be... You know what? At this point, though, as long as fucking Amnesia Boy isn't in office anymore, we need a president that doesn't shake hand with goats, with
the fact
ghosts.
that he's running again, I'm blown away. I'm like, why?
Like, don't get me wrong. I don't. Honestly, I
He
don't.
just turns.
I don't care what a side of the aisle your political spectrum is. Like, if you can't honestly look at our president and go, "Holy shit, this guy needs to get out of there," you're not
Dude,
paying
he
attention.
does. If he wins again, and every time he goes live, you're gonna see tubes running out of the back of his fucking ass into another
Picture
room where they have
the
machines
scene
that they're keeping him
from
alive.
Jumanji.
You're gonna see people holding his arms so he
Yeah.
doesn't turn.
The scene from Jumanji when Robin Williams comes back and runs out and he goes up to the guy and he's like, "What year is
What
it?"
year is it? Well, no. The problem with Joe Biden is he's basically like if Captain America came back at the end of Avengers, but through the time travel thing, it didn't do something right, so half of his brain got smushed, and he's just a doddering old fucking man. Like, it is what it is. We need to stop electing doddering old men. Sorry, it would just like say what you want about Trump. I don't care. Not even talking about politics. At least he's not doddering. He may be a cunt, but he's not a doddering asshole. Biden is, like I said, he shakes hands with ghosts.
Now we know where Sam is from Quantum Leap. He leaped into fucking Biden.
He's Biden.
Stuck
Yeah.
in Biden.
Am I
His
retarded?
brain is fried.
Yeah. He looks in the mirror every morning going, "What the fuck? Who am I?" Yeah. I don't know. That
Been
should be a
stuck
movie.
all these years.
You know, YouTube boxing matches are fucking popular. How about we just have the two of them box it out? We'll have DeSantis go against Trump, which DeSantis will probably clean up house on both of them, to be honest with you. Okay, Trump versus Biden, or Trump and Biden tag teaming against DeSantis, and then the winner,
First,
then they
for
have to fight
age.
each other.
All right, but I don't want boxing. I want Hell in a Cell.
Oh, there you go. Literally, Trump choke slams Biden off of the side of the cage, and he lands
Do you
into the
really
table.
think they're gonna make it to the top of the cage?
He lands into the table,
To
but then
lift him up.
he just turns into a puddle of liquid, like the dude from X-Men after Magneto tries to make him a mutant and it doesn't take. He just fucking just turns into water.
As soon as he hits,
Just as
the senator that fucking
he turns into one of those
Oh my
like a
God.
water balloon. He just dissipates, and then Trump and
Fuck, I forgot about
Trump and
that scene.
DeSantis are just looking at each other like I don't know. That's news to me. Yeah, that's in the original X. Nobody remembers the original X-Men. Celebrity Deathmatch, a real life one.
that was what's his name, Hawkboy's fucking or whatever that guy with the wings.
Could you imagine if
That
like
was his dad.
His dad, yeah.
they did just do a celebrity deathmatch and Trump's like, "Come at me with that knife, you geriatric fuck." And it's, I would pay to I'd pay
is
that
Herb
pay per
Alpert
view.
alive?
videos of
Herb Alpert, what's his name? What's his name?
Marv
Trump,
Alpert.
Biden, and Obama.
Let's see that
and,
again.
AI generated videos of them
Yeah,
arguing.
they're fucking playing video games.
yeah, I've heard all the voiceovers. The ones I love
Biden's
is when.
never played the same game.
But the thing about it is like those voiceovers. Biden's always the fucking just lost. Like you've got Obama and Trump are talking to each other. Like, come on, we got to get this objective. And Biden's like, where am I? What's going on here? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't talk about politics much here, but like, frankly, I don't think it's a political thing at this point. I think if like you're not embarrassed by our current administration, what the fuck has to happen for you to go? Things need to change. Like our economy's in the shit, homelessness and all that bad stuff's at a high rise, and we have a president that stammers on and shakes hands with ghosts. Like,
we need term limits and
oh god,
cognitive
Age
Yeah.
limit.
testing.
yeah,
No,
right.
Not really age limit. Yeah, testing. Yeah.
Is there somebody in the background flashing a light in his eyes, going, "You still there? Huh?" Uh-huh.
You know how we have to go to the DMV and check our fucking eyesight?
Not
We doing
me.
that shit.
I'm a good driver. I got to renew online this year.
Well, wait till you have to actually go physically. You have to do that.
Well, I'm gonna get another surgery before that. I'm like, sorry, can't do it. Just can't do it. I'm fine though, no problem.
Here's my medical papers.
Yeah, I know it's not about my eyes or anything. It's just I ate some more jelly beans and it fucking almost killed me. All right. So yeah, we'll announce what we're gonna review. I don't know if it's gonna be going back to Kill Bill for the next foursome episode. I got to see what we're doing for if we're doing an episode next week, and if we are, what that one's going to be based upon. Alex and I go into weird movies. We have a weird 80s fetish, so there's lots of shit out there that we can watch that wouldn't be a good foursome review. So
We still got Real Men that we got to talk about one day.
yeah, that
That would
and
be good. John Ritter and Belushi.
James Belushi. This is when he wanted to
just
be.
call him
This is when he
Belushi.
wanted to be a real actor. Like, if you ever noticed the credits for Red Heat, which I think is the one he's in, with Schwarzenegger.
With Schwarzenegger, yeah.
It's not Jim. It's James Belushi, because that's when he was going to be the next big actor.
Now, if you want to go into a really 80s movie, Dead Heat with fucking Tret Williams and Joe
Oh.
Piscopo.
Treat Williams is not good. Joe Piscopo's even worse. I remember that movie.
I met Tret Williams. He's a cool guy.
I'm just talking about his movies.
Yeah.
I remember he took over in The Substitute 2, and I was like, ah, the fuck?
Oh god.
Oh, where's Tom Berenger? This fucking guy. Treat Williams at your service.
Where's the guy with the bad knees from fucking Major League?
Treat Williams reminds me of the dude from King Kong that like is the action hero, but in real life he's a total pussy. Like, he just looks like a face, you know what I mean? Yeah, fuck Treat Williams. Nothing against you, but
I thought you were gonna say fucking what's his name? Step Brothers guy.
John C. Reilly? Will
Yeah.
Ferrell?
Yeah, John C.
There's
Reilly.
a lot of people in that movie, Alex.
King Kong. Oh, King Kong, you said?
Oh, he was in Skull Island. He wasn't in.
Speaking of
I was
which,
talking about
there's
the
gonna
05
be
one.
Godzilla vs Kong 2.
Yeah.
I like the Godzilla vs Kong. We'll see. I don't know. I just feel like I'm getting burnt out with everything. Like, if anything that's an ongoing franchise, it's like
They
Like,
brought back Gremlins.
Something new.
cartoon form.
besides John Wick, I am looking forward to John Wick. Cartoon form, huh?
Yeah, with the original actors doing the
Why?
voices.
What's the point? Nobody who's watching that fucking show that's younger than 25 knows any of those
When I-
fucking people.
When I launched Max, that's the first thing that popped up was fucking Mogwai's
Maxi
fucking-
pad indeed. All right, guys. We'll let you know in the Discord what we're going to be reviewing on the next episode, when the next episode is, whether it's next week or the week after, however we're going to be figuring that out. It's either going to be Kill Bill or, like I said, there's a lot of movies that came out in the time we've missed that we can review and watch and whatnot. So we'll be going over all that. We'll let you guys know in the Discord. Thank you, everybody, for coming back with us. We haven't been here in a couple months, so it feels good to be back. You guys have a wonderful night. I'm going to sign out. You guys go ahead and do the same, and then we'll go make love.
Have a good night.
The
Bye.
Demolition Man style. We don't
Bye.
even need to be in the same room.
Demolition.
Rusty, thank you for hanging out, buddy. Everybody, have a wonderful night.